come from half forwards in the competition, and we know Matt can do that. And then there's the ability to finish and have scoreboard impact as well. So that's our two aims from all of our small forwards in our team, which is probably the same as every team in the competition, to be fair. But we also love Matty's maturity and leadership that he'll bring to our team as well.
Last one from us, and we appreciate your time, Andrew. I'm curious about Elijah Hewitt, 14 disposals and a goal yesterday. What does he need to do to force his way back into the league side?
Yeah, look, Elijah's missed a lot of his pre-season, particularly since Christmas. He's just not had a lot of football. So our aim with Elijah is to set him up for success for a great season. So it's important he gets the right minutes in. We know that he's a really high-level player and he's an important player to our team. And we want to get him in, but we also want to get him in when he's really ready to go and play AFL level football. So whenever that is, I'm hopeful it's not too far away, and he'll have an impact, as I'm sure everyone expects he will.
Andrew McQualter, the Eagles senior coach, speaking with us on Sports Talk a little bit earlier today. West Coast facing Sydney. We're about 20 minutes away from getting underway here at Perth Stadium. No late changes, so for the Eagles, those changes, Yeo, Newton and Robertson out. Owies, Champion and Brock come in. For the Sydney Swans, Cleary was omitted and Isaac Heaney returns after a hamstring injury. There was a game earlier today, of course, if you've just joined us, Port Adelaide too good for the Tigers. Richmond still without a win in 2026, 13-12-90 to the Tigers 6-12-48. Let's head downstairs. The other member of our broadcast team is Bridget Lacey, who's got a special guest alongside her from the Sydney Football Club. Bridget, welcome.
Thanks, Clint. Lucky enough to have Sydney Director of Coaching and Performance, Simon Goodwin, join us pre-game. Simon, I have to ask you first of all, do you just walk back into this stadium and get good vibes? The place, of course, you became a premiership coach only a few years ago.
Yeah, look, I do. You walk in here and there's obviously a lot of fond memories. You know, looking back at our time in 21, it was a really special time and a special environment to be in, and it's just such a great stadium to play footy in, and I'm looking forward to experiencing that again tonight.
How are you finding your new role at the Swans so far?
Yeah, really enjoying it. Obviously working with a really good coaching group, and obviously a pretty inexperienced senior coach in Dean Cox. So it's been great to build a really good strategy and plan and work with the coaches about how we deliver it, not only within our education and our classroom type stuff back at the facility, but also out on the training, drill design, and obviously into game implementation. So it's been a great role to be a part of. I've enjoyed it. We're a few weeks in, but we've got plenty still to grow on.
What's your role on game day?
Yeah, still on the bench, just, I coach the offence as well, so from a ball movement perspective, but, pretty much passing on the messages from upstairs and making sure they align and get them out onto the field and work with the players on the bench about what the game needs at a particular time. So enjoying that, very similar to what he was in Melbourne on game day. I am enjoying it.
Coming off the bye, obviously big road trip. What are you expecting from the boys today?
Yeah, look, 16 days is a long time off. It's pretty unique, and I don't think we've experienced that for a long time. But we had a pretty heavy training session last Saturday. Got a good match simulation in and match load in. So, we're certainly under no illusions what we're up against. West Coast are in really good form, especially in the last couple of weeks, and played some really exciting footy. So, we were disappointed with how we played against Hawthorn. Obviously, a pretty short turnaround for us then, but we think we've made some inroads in what we've been able to do, and we've got some good training in.
What do you know what to expect from the Eagles, and have they sort of surprised you at all in the first few weeks of the season?
Yeah, look, we're sort of not surprised by how they're developing. Clearly, they've got a lot of talent with the young kids, and some of their experienced players have come in, with Kelly and Yeo, who's not playing today, and Harley Reid and these type of guys, and Jack Graham playing a really strong footy. So, they play a very sort of similar sort of method to what we've seen before around the competition, the way Richmond used to play, the way Gold Coast play, and they've got a method that's very similar to the Richmond era, a few years ago. So, they're an exciting team. They play the right way, and I know Minnie pretty well, and he's coaching him really well.
That's right, of course you do. Have you exchanged any text messages during the week or anything like that?
Caught up with him briefly just before, just had a bit of a laugh. I'll catch him tomorrow post-game. He gets a bit too serious Minnie pre-game, so I'll look forward to catch up with him tomorrow.
No Elliot Yeo today, which is a plus definitely for the Swans, but Harley Reid's had a very nice start to the year, and they do have some weapons in there. Is there anything you'll do defensively to try and curb the influence in there?
Yeah, clearly we'll have a few plans in and around their midfield. That's certainly where they've got a lot of drive in recent times. Baker went in there last week and had a fairly big influence. And you spoke about Harley Reid. He's certainly taken his game to the next level. And Kelly's come in the last couple of weeks and clearly transformed a lot of the way they're playing through the middle of the ground. So it's an area of the ground that we've got to get right. We feel like we're strong in there, but we need to make sure that we can, counteract what they're doing as well.
Isaac Heaney coming back in today certainly helps that. Will you use him the same way you always have, or do you need to look after him a little bit after that slight problem he had before the bye?
No, look, he trained fully. If it was, he probably was really close to playing the week before. It was just a 5-day break that stopped it from happening. So, he's got a really good block of training. We're excited to get him back. He's a pretty important player, and we'll use him in a very similar way through the middle of the ground and also up forward. And we love it when he hits the scoreboard. So we'll be, we're hoping the ball gets in his hands quite regularly.
Simon Goodwin joining us pre-game as the Swans prepare to take on the Eagles. Interested in your thoughts on Charlie Curnow. It feels like he's already copped a fair bit of flack very early in his career up in Sydney. What are you seeing from him, and do you think he might be in for a big day out today, because he has got a pretty good record against the Eagles?
Yeah, look, we've got to give him some time. He's at a new football club, a new system, a new coach, a new way of playing, and he's adapting to that. He obviously had a pretty strong game in round 0, and he worked really hard against Brisbane in round 1, and with all the work that he did, Joel Amadi was able to kick 5. So he's still working his way into his best form and working with the system. But I think everyone just says to take a breath with Charlie, give him some time to really settle into his new environment. Cohesion's a massive part in footy, and understanding your teammates and your system and the way you play. So we're spending a lot of time with him, and I'm sure he's going to come into some really good form shortly.
Another one of your players who gets a fair bit of attention, Chad Warner. Every time he comes to Perth, it seems like there's a lot of chatter around. How does he handle that?
Oh, he loves it. He loves the attention, Chad. He's not afraid to have all the attention on him. But he's a top class player, and I can understand the interest that would be out there in Western Australia. He's a Perth boy, and he'll have that speculation for the rest of his career, I'm sure. But what I do know about him is he loves his club, he loves his teammates, and he's a big Sydney person as we speak.
Brilliant. I do have to ask you as well, have you kept an eye on some of your former players who are now playing for other clubs around the league? It's been nice to see Christian Petrarca obviously playing some good footy, and Clayton Oliver at GWS as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I certainly have loved all the players that I've coached and got a good relationship with them all, and just to see them all thrive in different environments. Christian and Clayton, obviously the two, but even like an Alex Neil-Bullen and a Judd McVie. I was watching the game last night and seeing those guys, and I think they tackled each other in the first minute of the game. I thought there's another two that played at Melbourne. So that's just the industry we're in now. Players move around, but you get to spend a lot of time with them and get to influence as a senior coach, and I'm really proud of the work that we've done with all those guys.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for joining us, and hope all goes well for you today, Simon.
Thank you.
Well done, Bridget Lacey. Downstairs with Simon Goodwin, the Director of Coaching and Performance at the Sydney Swans. Interesting, the discussion about Charlie Curnow. 5-5 from his 3 games as a Swan so far. His performances against West Coast are impressive. 29-15 against West Coast as a Blue. That included hauls of 10 goals and 9 goals in 2023. And he's got a record of 22 goals, 12 in the 7 games at Perth Stadium. The Eagles about to run out through their banner. The Swans are on the ground. The Eagles banner 05-06 never gets old. Both less than a kick up the blue and gold. And if we can get something like the games that these sides played against each other in those years between 2004 and 2007, we would be in for an absolute treat. There was barely 2 goals in a succession of games between these two great football clubs. And the other thing to worry about if you are an Eagles fan is how will Tom Papley perform today? His 200th game for the Swans, All-Australian, 3-time a leading goal kicker for them. Picked up in the rookie draft with 306 goals to his name as well. And there are a few better celebrators of a goal in the competition than Tom Papley. Whether he goes to get stuck into the face of somebody from the opposition team, or my personal favourite where he high-fived the invisible crowd at Adelaide Oval during COVID times. No one loves a celebration more than Tom Papley. The Eagles about to make their way out onto Perth Stadium. Clear blue skies above us. It's a terrific afternoon for footy. And there's real hope and expectation for the first time in a long time about this side in blue and gold. There's plenty of youngsters out there. 9 players in this group under the age of 21. And the 2 number 1 draft picks are doing what everyone from West Coast would be hoping that they would be able to achieve. And that is setting a standard. William Dersma in the number 1. And, of course, I also speak of the number 9 in Harley Reid. The Eagles burst through the banner. They're in their traditional colours, the blue with the gold wings, the blue shorts as well. The Sydney Swans are wearing their traditional colours as well. The red shorts and the red and white top with the stylistic V across the shoulders. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner in commentary for the next 5 minutes. Let's get the thoughts of our experts. How does it all pan out? Who goes to who? Who does get the job on Charlie Curnow? Shane Woewodin, Sharad Willingham, give us your thoughts on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it's a tantalising feeling at the moment because there's the unknown of what West Coast is going to be able to dish up, and if they can continue the form that they've, well, not amazing form, but they've shown grit and determination, which is just as good as great
starting
form.
point.
And they've managed to get away with the wins. Midfield, as we say, every week is where it starts, and like I said just before, if Graham can show what he's shown since pulling on the blue and gold, it'll go a long way. If Flynn is able to half the Grundy influence, I think it'll go a long way. I'm really looking forward to seeing Duff Tyler in the flesh for the first time. I think that he's a really exciting prospect, not just as a forward, but his ability to go into the ruck as well. In the future years of his career, first time seeing Dersma as well. I'm really excited to see him run around, own the wing. I'm loving his ability to hit the scoreboard from outside 50. It's really impressive. West Coast, you look at a couple of the stats and their scores per inside 50 is really good. So they're really efficient when they manage to get it in there. And so today is going to be about managing to get it in there enough times and stay with that efficiency. 53% of the time they've been able to score when they've gone in, which is really, really high. Second in the league, only behind Fremantle. So if they're able to stay efficient, and you pair that with their kicking efficiency, which is higher than Sydney's, which is something that I didn't think that I would be reading off a bit of paper, that it puts them in a good spot to be competitive today.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, with the midfield at the start, I just think Sydney today, they'll have more numbers roll through there, so their intensity around the ball will be for longer periods. Not just necessarily with Grundy and what he can do, but I've loved what Sarong's been able to bring into the Sydney lineup this year. And also, I think McInerney's also taken his game to another level. Until he hits the scoreboard, he's got wheels. He can take the ball from inside to out pretty well. And as I said, multiple options that can go through there. They can rest forward and have an impact up the front half. And I think there's less with West Coast at the moment, and they'll get some younger kids through there, which will be important for their development and their growth. But I think Sydney's experience through there will be pretty. And Waterman does need a hand, doesn't he?
He does.
He can't be the sole one who's going to have to hit the scoreboard. They rely heavily on him, but some assistance aerially and at ground level too will be really important in the front half for West Coast, just about to hold into this game. But I think the damaging part of Sydney's game is their bounce off half back with Bison, Blakely, and what they'll be able to and provide the run. So that'll be something, alarm bells will be ringing, I think, if they get off the chain early.
I think the thing Clint touched on very quickly is the back line for West Coast and the prowess that Sydney's forward line holds. That they've got some really damaging forwards who can, as you mentioned, Curnow loves coming to Perth Stadium. He's got a really good history here and hasn't had the best fortnight of football. Obviously, they had last week off, so I'm calling it a fortnight of football, but his last game wasn't great, and so I wouldn't be surprised if he does kick 5 or more today, and it's going to be the really telling point of that back line is how much they can try and quell his influence.
Yeah. He didn't have a kick after quarter time in that game. Not a kick. Yes. The first time that's ever happened in his career in a game where he didn't go off injured.
Yeah, and we don't know what happens in their full balls or how they structure up, but I'd love to see Curnow get up, hit the logos early and get some ball in hand and wheeling and going, as we know how dangerous he can be when he's up in the ground taking those marks in between the arcs and then rolling inside 50 with his dangerous leg.
So Curnow and Heaney average inside the top 3 for scores against the Eagles the last few years. So Heaney's 1, Curnow's 3, Jack Gunston sits between him in 3rd. So there's 2 they have to look after.
Is it going to have to be Jinby who goes to Curnow? Is probably the He's probably the only one who's got the strength, I think, in the back line to be able to stay with him. So that's going to be a really interesting matchup today.
Yeah, Brock and the likes go to the second and third tours when they go to Logan and Armity.
West Coast warming up to the left of our broadcast position, kicking the shots at goal towards the Farmer Freeway end of Perth Stadium. The Swans to the right across half forward at the city end of the ground. They've played 57 times. Sydney have won 35 of them, and here at Perth Stadium, remarkably, the Swans have won all 3 games. The bounce coming up right after this.
Are there any winners in the cost of living crisis? What's causing the algal bloom?
Questions. They've never been more important. So the one thing we'll never question is our duty to keep asking. ABC News. Keep asking.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Sport.
AFL. On ABC Radio.
On digital. And ABC Listen.
Look for the AFL button.
It's West Coast and Sydney from Perth Stadium. The Eagles, they've got a job in front of them if they want to win 3 straight games for the first time since 2021. Sydney are coming off a break, and they've won their past 6 matches here at Perth Stadium, and they've also won their past 5 against West Coast. They do have Tom Patley playing a 200th game for the Sydney Swans, and they'll be keen to make sure that he is able to celebrate the way that he would want to. And we understand there might be a late change as well. Harry Cunningham has come in for Sydney, originally named as an emergency. Mitch Turner, what have you got?
Going through the team list because we haven't actually been told yet, but looking at the updated champion data screen, no Malcolm Roses, number 10, who has played all 3 games so far. So it looks like Malcolm Roses will be out as we see Harry Cunningham now come out to join his teammates on Perth Stadium.
So he was out there in the warm-up, Roses, the former Gold Coast player. Would have been game 53 for him, 49 of those played at the Gold Coast Suns. He was out there about 20 minutes ago. But that is a very late change, and we're just watching Harry Cunningham, who's got a broad grin across his face, who cannot believe he's been thrown into this game. In fact, side-fiving a few of his teammates as he goes through a little run-through inside the Swans' forward 50. The number 7 for the Sydney Swans in game 220, his first appearance in Sydney Swans AFL colours for 2026. So a late change for the Sydney Swans up against the West Coast Eagles. The other change, Isaac Heaney returning, and Cleary was omitted for the West Coast Eagles. No late changes. Owies, Champion and Brock come in for the injured Yeo. Robertson, who has been suspended, and Newton, who has been dropped. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner. Our experts will get their tips. Who wins? Shane Woden, Sharad Willingham.
Sydney for mine.
Sydney for me also.
Yeah, I'm with the Swans. And you, Mitch?
I think I've got to go the Swans, given their record recently against the Eagles.
Hard to see Sydney not winning this game, but West Coast, can they cause a couple of surprises already with wins, of course, in 2026, doubling their record from 2025 when they only picked up the 1 victory, wins over North Melbourne and Port Adelaide. It's a calf injury officially for Malcolm Roses, the reason for the late change. It must have been suffered in that warm-up. Let's head downstairs, find out what the conditions are like. Beautiful blue skies. What's it like downstairs? Bridget Lacey's with us on the Boundary Bridge.
Thanks, Clint. Definitely more my style down here today. About 25 degrees, as you mentioned, beautiful blue skies overhead. There's just a tiny bit of the ground still with sunshine over it. There is a bit of a breeze, a blustery breeze, swirly breeze that we normally get here. If anything, it's favouring the Graham Farmer Freeway end of the ground. Expecting a really good crowd today. It's always a bit of a question mark over Easter whether people go away, but I feel like the West Coast fans will be up and about and they'll be coming in their numbers today. I did have word out of the Swans. It's a tight calf for Roses, so maybe he hasn't totally done it, hopefully for them anyway. But as you mentioned, Harry Cunningham comes into this team. He will start on the bench for the Swans alongside McDonald, Rowbottom, Sheldrick and Rampy. And for West Coast, McCarthy, Archer Reid, Champion, Davis and Brock.
You know it's been a late change. The Swans haven't even updated it on their socials at this point. So that late change, Malcolm Rosa's out and Harry Cunningham off the emergency list and into this game. West Coast up against Sydney. The Eagles hoping to win 3 in a row. It is a good crowd for what is, of course, the Easter holiday. The second of our 2 games today. Welcome if you've just joined us from Port Adelaide and Richmond. A 42-point win to the Power there as players make their way to their respective positions. Sydney disappointing back in round 2, losing to Hawthorn by 17 points the Thursday night at the MCG. They will be well rested. The Eagles looking to continue on this bright start with their youngsters in 2026. To get us started on Saturday footy on ABC Sport, here's Mitch Turner.
Tom Papley, he won the toss for Sydney in game 200. They'll kick to the city end of Perth Stadium. We're underway. Grundy tapped straight down to Heaney for the Swans, then to McInerney, back to Grundy. Forward handball to Jordan at half forward. Player all on his own inside 50. Corey Warner couldn't take the mark. Tracks it back in the left forward pocket. Handballs across to a teammate in Roberts, who kicks the top of the goal square. And Marty takes the mark for the Swans. That was way too easy for the visitors. He'll have a set shot from 10 metres out, almost directly in front. He snaps around the body as casual as you'd like. And 30 seconds in, the Swans have the first goal on the board. Amati kicks it. 1 straight 6 Sydney. West Coast yet to touch the footy.
Well, Sandy Brock looked like he was stuck in a bunker there. He couldn't really move his feet.
What about Heaney's hands inside that centre bounce?
And it's exactly what we spoke about pre-game. Grundy's ability to get forward hard, competed at the I was going to say bounce, at the ball up, and then ran straight forward hard.
Yeah, West Coast mids lose their shape in and around centre bounce there. All got track to the ball, left Grundy out.
How did Warner have so much space inside 50?
It was Baker who was caught in decision between pressing and staying on Warner.
They were hoping to avoid a slow start. The Eagles not with that. Great beginning for the Swans, and they'll burst through again. Grundy got it down to Warner, charging through the middle. Hand pass to Heaney from centre half forward. Kicks inside forward 50. Papley. Wow. That was slick as you like from those in red and white.
Grundy inserted himself real early in these first 2 centre bounces. First possession of Sydney too. That time Warner. And again, there's Sydney mids getting forward.
In game 200, Tom Papley. What sort of celebration has he got for us if he kicks truly? Kicks on its way. He's missed. Not yet when it comes to rejoicing for Papley. 1-1-7 the Swans. The Eagles are yet to touch the football. They will now with a kick in. No score to them. 2 gone in the opening term.
2 footballs on the field as well. Maybe the ball kid felt bad for them as Lindsay kicks the ball in. Goes towards left half back and Hoff takes the mark. Decides to go down the line opposed to switching it. Kicks to a contest. Flying up high in the front was Flynn. Couldn't take the mark. Brought it to ground. Mills there for the Swans. Just threw the ball out. Crowd wanted to hold in the ball. Didn't come. Reed in there. Gets it back to Flynn. One arm pinned as he's tackled. The umpire said that's prior opportunity. Sarong got him. A Sarong doing it against the Eagles at Perth Stadium. We've seen that before. This, though, is Jai, the younger brother of Caleb. Kicks it inside the forward 50, looking for a target. And Marty got free, took the mark, arms extended above the head. We'll go back and have a set shot. This one a little tougher than the first. We'll kick it from about 35 metres out, slightly worse than a 45-degree angle to the right.
It's really ugly early, doesn't it? 3 minutes in. James Jordan going to Harley Reid, and he's coming outside the square to do this job on him.
So Joel Amati has been the spearhead so far this season for Sydney. On the approach, set shot is away to the left. Another let off. The Eagles, 1-2-8 the Swans. West Coast yet to score. 3.5 played in the first term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Eagles with 3 touches. Sydney with 3 scoring shots. Long beyond defensive 50 for Lindsay. Hits the deck. Heaney got a hand to it to Mills. Worked it on to Papley. Inside forward 50 again. And leading out to Marcus Curnow. They're doing as they please, the Swans. Can Curnow convert? Tight angle in the right forward pocket.
Like how clean they've been in and around the contest. Sharp hands.
Very sharp hands.
As a Blue, he has ripped West Coast apart in recent games. Now in the red and whites. Looking for a second goal for Sydney in the opening 5 minutes. Boots cross the 50 from deep in the right forward pocket. Kicks on its way. Splits the middle. Doesn't matter what colour jumper he's wearing. Charlie Curnow knows how to inflict pain on the Eagles. Sydney have got 2. Less than 5 gone in the first quarter. They're 2-2-14. The Eagles yet to score, and they've yet to have possession of the football forward of the halfway mark.
They actually are yet to attain their own possession. So, Lindsay's
had one from a kick out that Hoff received.
Yeah, so that's
2 kick outs and a mark from the kick out. It's 4 inside 50s to zip.
Hasn't gone past.
They're going at about an inside 50 a minute right now. So they're on track for 120. Very early days. Ball back in the middle. Flynn opposed to Grundy. Grundy weighted down as Flynn over-jumped it. Couldn't take possession though. McCarthy could for West Coast. Handball out in front of Graham. Gets a kick away up the southern side. Champion into the side. Takes the mark. Quickly handballs as well to the runner. Allen inside 50 to Waterman on the lead. Takes the mark 48 from home and just wants to make sure that Tom McCartan isn't inching any closer, because this will take, I wouldn't say his best because he kicked one about 70 metres last week.
Yeah.
He'll kick it from well outside 50, Jake Waterman.
I think similar spot to last week, wasn't it? On the siren.
This will be a nice answer for the Eagles. Their first foray forward.
Great kick by Bo Allen inside 50.
Jake Waterman, the leader of this Eagles attack. Kicks from outside 50. Kick is on the way. It's away to the left. A minor score. The Eagles first of the day, though, 1 behind. They trail Sydney 2-2-14. 6.5 played. First term here. Perth Stadium, Saturday footy, ABC Sport.
Like he has to shield his eyes from the setting sun. The kick is short. McInerney couldn't get there. He's going to get a free kick. A bit of push and shove and afters. Mills goes in. Have a bit to say. It's against Duff Tightler. Just taking McInerney high. Still in the right back pocket here for the Swans. Wants someone to run towards him. There's an option on short from Melican. He goes further afield towards centre wing, and that's well read by Sarong. Takes the mark. Running by Jordan. Receives the hand pass. Puts Sydney inside forward 50. Jinby had to come out for the intercepts. Takes the mark for the Eagles and will send it all the way back to be marked there by Young at fullback for West Coast. 2-2-14 the Swans. 1 behind the Eagles. 7 gone in the first.
Young goes laterally by foot again to the right back pocket where Hoff can receive. Has a think now, runs his full measure. Kicks down the southern wing. Coming from behind was Shanahan, dropping back and paid the mark. No, thought Bice was going to get it, but instead it's a push going the way of Waterman. Bice is slowly to his feet. Now this is too far out. He's backward of the wing, Jake Waterman, so he spears it to centre wing where Graham could mark. Blue skies above us at Perth Stadium, but the ring lights, they are on. Graham called to play on. Will kick high towards right half forward. Looking for a marking target. Shanahan couldn't get to it. Mills held him off. Wanted a free kick. Unforthcoming as it goes off hands out of bounds. Will be tossed in right at the right half forward junction. Guardas joining us. A very late change after the warm-up for the Swans. Malcolm Roses out with a calf. Harry Cunningham into the side for his first game of the season. Ball spun back in. Flynn trying to tap it forward for the Eagles. Wicks gathered for the Swans, though. Kicked up the wing. Curnow overran it. Had Jinby for company, who did well to go back and gather. Now kicks into the middle of the ground. Needs to be good with the kick. Miss Hoff. Papley was there to work him off it. Sydney win it back. Patley to Sarong. Handball forward, no good. Straight back to the Eagles. Hoff gives it to Graham, who bursts through. Breaks a tackle, kicks up to the leading Waterman, who can't mark. Falls Malikan's way for the Swans. His handball, straight back to the Eagles. Davis to Duff Tytler, to Waterman, to Cripps. Just outside left half forward he goes. The leading target of Job Shanahan. Not the hardest mark he's had to take in the last 7 days. But he'll have the set shot from a very tight angle. It will kick from outside 50 at left half forward.
West Coast definitely settled after that really kind of hot start from Sydney. But I think that what I'm seeing so far is a lot more improvement in their skill level and intensity and around the ball.
He was the hero last week, Job Shanahan. He won't be on this occasion. The kick is across the face. Big pack flies. No one got a clean hand on it. And the boundary umpire tells the goal umpire it went across the line, so it'll be a behind. Two behinds play 2-2-14. The Eagles trail by 12.
Swans look to take it quickly away. Bice turns it over, heading to the outer side. Marked there by McCarthy for West Coast. He'll move it to Duggan. Is it right half forward? Duggan works his way onto his left. Kicks into the right forward pocket. Going up. Half Tytler couldn't take the mark. It's a second go at it. Tackled to ground by Mills. Ball not coming out of there. Ball up the call. Close to the boundary at right full forward for West Coast. Grundy palmed it down straight to Blakey. Well worked. Tumbles a kick beyond defensive 50. No mark taken. Off hands down to McDonald. Worked it immediately on. Comes to Corey Warner. Thumping kick into the middle of the ground, and waiting underneath it is Hoff. And take the defensive mark for West Coast. Looks to share it out to the left-hand side. Out towards the wing. McCarthy again will move it on. Comes to Davis. Davis kicks in the direction of Waterman. Worked hard to get there. Slid down and took the mark at left half forward for the Eagles.
Turns and goes inside 50. Waterman has a target all on his own. Cooper Duff tight luck in the left forward pocket. Found him, and he'll go back, and it'll be a tight shot. Will kick from about 45. He'll start outside the boundary.
Waterman started well early, presenting the footing.
Working up nice
occasions, yep.
Love to see his GPS. It's covering the entire ground already. Cooper Duff Tytler, the young big man for the Eagles. Kick again is across the face. Big pack forms. No mark taken. Off hands, out of bounds. It'll be tossed back in right next to the right behind post. Deep inside Eagles attacking 50. They still trail by 12 points, yet to find their first goal.
Boundary umpire spins it back in. Archer Reid against Grundy. One down by Reid. Bounced the way of Waterman. Lost his footing. Got tackled. Pinned for holding the ball. Swans will take the advantage quickly. Rampy. Long kick towards centre wing out of side. Curnow at the back could take the mark. Ugly looking kick. Might work out okay as it bounces towards centre half forward. Picked up by McDonald. Goes in the direction of Lloyd, who marks it right full forward. It'll be a tight angle to have a shot at goal. He'll put boot to ball from about 30 out.
Yeah, good decision by Dane Rampy just to take advantage. Saw Curnow out the back. A great skill level by Sydney on two occasions there.
Jake Lloyd, twice a best and fairest winner with the Sydney Swans. Looking for a career 50th goal. He's on his way in, and he kicks the major for Sydney. 50th AFL goal for Jake Lloyd, and a third for the Swans. 13 minutes gone at Perth Stadium in the opening quarter. Sydney at 3-2-20, West Coast 2 behinds. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Bridget Lacey's on the bound.
Yeah, well, we mentioned that James Jordan had gone to Harley Reid. Sure sign that is definitely continuing, with Jordan asking to come to the bench when Harley Reid came there just now. So that looks like it's going to be something for Harley to handle all day.
We know over the last couple of years that when the opposition have gone with a tag, that he can get under his skin, and we've seen a different level of maturity from Harley so far this year. It'll be great to see how he reacts to a hard tag.
He's been copying that attention pretty much since the day he walked out on an AFL football field, hence He's getting it again today. Ball back in the middle. Amati tapped it down. Couldn't find Sheldrick. Reid got it for the Eagles. That was Archer. Gave it to Tom McCarthy. Kick was too hot for Champion. Couldn't gather. Wicks good. At left half back for the Swans. Thought about kicking instead. Went by hand to Sheldrick. Then got it back. Kicked straight up the middle of the centre square. Looking for a marking target. And Corey Warner couldn't take the mark. Followed up though. Tackling Duggan. And they'll get a ball up. Left attacking edge of the centre square. Favouring the Swans attacking side, the city end of Perth Stadium. Ball tossed up in the air. Archer Reid tapped it down. Heaney sharked it for the Swans. Handball in front of Sheldrick. Got the boot on ball to the top of the goal square. It goes too wide. Hits the behind post. Goes out on the full. The Eagles will have it back. It'll be Jinby's free kick. Right back pocket. The Eagles trailing by 18 points this opening term.
Jinby runs into his defensive centre square. Awkward bounce for the kick. Luckily worked out to Dersma. Hand pass to Lindsay, two of the young guns for the Eagles, and then moved it to Hoff, who marks. Got their way out of trouble then, West Coast. Swans everywhere. Luxa Fortune with the bounce. Hoff plays on to Dersma by hand. To the co-captain Duggan on the wing. Back to Dersma. Great run from him. The kick, though, was smothered. Sheldrick got a touch on it. Goes inside forward 50. Shanahan knew that he couldn't take the mark because of the touch from the Swans on the way through. Took the ball to ground, wrapped up, ball up.
Only catches them when it counts.
Heavy strappy on the left hand. Again for Shanahan. Throwing up from the restart. One down by the Swans. It came out here to Heaney. Kicked around the body towards centre wing. Oh, Marty, good mark. In a pack. Gathered it on the logo. Hands it off to the run of Sheldrick running by. Kicks towards centre half forward. And Kelly is up with a defensive mark for West Coast at centre half back. The Swans by 18. 16 gone in the first.
Don't see that a lot from Tim Kelly, but that was a nice intercept possession. He kicks out towards the broadcast wing where Lindsay can take the mark. Found himself out of the side in the Eagles' second game. Got his way back in last week. Now has the ball. The youngster, Lindsay, kicks up the wing, looking for a marking target. Too high for Archer Reid, and it's taken by Logan McDonald. Playing behind the ball. Has a lead on short from Heaney, just the required 15. He's racking it up already, Isaac Heaney. Handballs quickly to Blakey. Almost ran into the umpire as he was looking to switch the ball. Eventually did so by foot to Malikan, who's had a mare there. Couldn't take the mark, then couldn't gather. Eventually slapped it onto Roberts. Kicks towards left half forward. Corey Warner in front of Hoff. Couldn't take it. Hoff did well. Tapped it to Baker. Now the Eagles are away. Kelly stepped inside, had to backtrack, and handball was turned over. Straight to Roberts. Inside 50 to Amati, who was running rampant over the West Coast Eagles. That's another mark, his fourth. Joel Amati in this first quarter. He'll go back and take the set shot. Will kick from outside 50, tucked on the boundary, left half forward. They almost got out of jail, the Eagles. Not so in the end. Amati comes in, strikes it beautifully from range. Turns to the crowd, gets nothing from them, but gets plenty from the Sydney Swans players. That's his second. The Swans, quick start, 4-2-26. The Eagles just two behinds, 24-point margin. 17 minutes played in the first. Sharad Wellingham and Shane Wowoden, our experts for ABC Sport.
He looks lively early, Amati, doesn't he? Just coming at the ball really well there. Yeah, great switch by Sydney. Shifted the footy, got it to the open side.
The thing that's just standing out for me is their ability to go so fast off turnover. As soon as they think that they're about to win the ball, everybody's just taking off and trying to get engaged with the turnover play.
Good finish.
Great finish. Great finish.
Very similar to the start of last week as well.
11 goals for the season for Joel Amati so far as Warner tried to take it away, got tackled. Looks to then pick it up. Hand pass forward. Here's Sheldrick spinning it centre half forward, putting it inside the attacking 50. Bounce went the way of Sarong. Threw it on the boot towards goal. Has it got the carry? It has. A Sarong kicking a goal at Perth Stadium, but this time in the red and white of Sydney. And they've got their fifth. The 19-minute mark of the opening term. 5-2-32 Sydney. The Eagles are two behinds. Now the complaint is, of course, was Warner tackled and should he have been pinged for holding the ball when Kelly got him in the centre circles? That was the Eagles fans' reaction. It's on the scoreboard, though. Great start for Sydney.
That won't be getting reviewed.
Nope.
Yeah, 2 goals from centre bounce already from Sydney. Been dangerous from there.
Yeah, they did their best while they didn't have Grundy in there and were able to get a little bit of 50-50, but he's back in there now.
Well, back in the middle, Warner came off his boot this time the wrong direction. Coming out to meet it was Schoenberg. Got the handball across to Kelly. Deep inside 50. Vacant goal square. Players run back. Rampy gets there. And he's happy to rush it through for the Swans. It's a minor score. 0-3-3. The Eagles, 5-2-32. The Swans, they bring it back into play to McCartan.
McCartan looks to play on by a hand. Wicks takes a bounce at right half back. Kicks towards right half forward. No mark taken. Lindsay, good spoil for the Eagles. He'll get it back. Handed to him by Brock. Shanahan involved. Comes to Allen. Kicks in the direction of Duff Tyler, who flew. At the back, Dersma runs onto it. Gathers from 51 out. He's missed left. He had options waiting for it. Inside forward 50. They were ignored. It's another minor score for the Eagles. 4 behinds. Sydney at 5-2-32. We've gone into time on in the opening term. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Shanahan gone behind the ball with 6 minutes to play.
Long kick out from the Swans. Blakey finds the chest of Heaney, who turns and kicks out the wing. Wasn't a great one. Found only Jimby of the Eagles. Composed, went back inside defensive 50 to the spare in Shanahan. Has it at right half back. Nice chip further afield to Baker. Defensive side of the wing, goes laterally and further wide to Kelly, who can chip forward to Hoff. The Eagles just trying to play calm and measured football. Not a lot on. So in the end, Hoff just loads up and goes long. It's off the side of the boots. It's out of bounds on the full. That left half back for the Swans. They'll regain possession. The disposal count has certainly evened up a little bit since the start. Inside 50s 9-8 Sydney's way, but they hold a 5-goal lead. Short kick finds Jordan. Just beyond left half back. Called to play on. Kicks a high ball up the southern side. Looking for a marking target and only finding Shanahan for the Eagles. Another intercept mark for the youngster.
Mentioned before, has the left hand and wrist heavily strapped as he kicks towards right half forward. Blakey was there, so to the other 22 in Archer Reid. Neither could take the mark. Ball bounces back in the direction of Blakey. Kelly looked to pump it out, got it to Schoenberg. On into an opportunity now for McCarthy to kick in the direction of goal. It's gone across the face and then tumbling over for a boundary throw-in. Left full forward for West Coast. Eagles kicking to the Farmer Freeway end in this opening term that's travelled 22 minutes. Sydney lead by 28 points. Thrown back in. Flynn got in front, palmed it down. Merging with it. Grundy, though, gathered for the Swans and kicked right into the middle of the ground. Jimby up against McDonald. Jimby brought it to ground, spilled to Shanahan. To Hoff. His hand pass was awry. Ball ricochets around. Eventually met here nicely. Getting a hand pass away was Young. Well, actually, a kick inside forward 50. Goes in the direction of McCartan. Bounced over his head and away for a throw-in again. Deep inside West Coast's forward 50. The inside 50s at the moment. West Coast now in front 10-9. All the scoring in terms of goals has been for Sydney. 5-2 to 4 behinds. Spun in again. Flynn once more in front position. Grundy tapped it down though to Mills. Trying to get it to Wicks. Stolen away by Reid. Hand pass over the shoulder meant for Flynn. Roberts got in the way. Gathered for the Swans. Sent it from beyond defensive 50. Decent battle here. Brock tried to hand pass it down, spilled out to Schoenberg, then on in turn, a chance to go to Baker, racing by Hoff. Oh, beautifully done, stepped inside Roberts and then kicks long and misses. Everything but the finish was perfect. Another minor score, 5 behind to the Eagles, the Sydney Swans who are 5-2-32, 23 gone in the first.
5 behinds for West Coast. As Mills kicks in to McCartan, who goes to right half back to Mills. Umpire said it wasn't 15. It's been called to play. I'm not sure he realises. Handballs inside to Blakey. Put him under pressure. Got a handball forward up the broadcast wing. Ball in dispute. Dersma met by Sheldrick. Tackled, wrapped up. That was pretty messy stuff by the Swans. We'll have a ball up just below our commentary position. Just forward of centre wing for the Eagles. Grundy taps it to space. Heaney gathered. High spiralling kick towards half forward. Amadi in front. Can't take the mark. Fist from behind. Falls to Sarong. Snaps it inside 50 in Curno's direction. Tight to the boundary line. Jimmy there for company. Couldn't keep it in. Off hands. Out of bounds. It'll be tossed in 35 metres around. And the Swans attacking goal. 5 goals on the board already. Heaney and Blakey both up to 8 disposals. Brady Hoff has 8 for West Coast. Ball eventually spun back in. Grundy got to the front for the Swans. Tapped it only as far as his opposing ruck in Flynn. Allen got there for the Eagles. Gave it to Kelly. Tumbling ball up the wing. Mills came out to meet it. Tapped it to the advantage of a teammate. Wore one in the process. Ends up with Jordan for the Swans. Long kick inside 50 and Marty Flew couldn't mark. Papley coming past. Couldn't rove it. Mills is down behind play. Caught one in the stomach, I think, from Waterman. Wasn't coming past. It was all fair, I think, in the contest, but they're just waiting while he gets to his feet, and the ball will be tossed back in deep in the right forward pocket for the Sydney Swans.
We're taking the wind out of him.
Interesting how it's a judge, though.
Haven't seen a replay of it yet. Keep an eye across that. It's the ball spun back in. Bounced off Grundy. Kelly was there. Grundy stole it, threw it on the boot. Good smother from Shanahan. Picked up by Allen for the Eagles. To Young. Looking to go towards Cripps. Might have been held. He was by Mills. That'll be a free kick to West Coast. Eagles fans delighted to see a free kick going their way. Here's Cripps. Free kicks at the moment. 3-1 in favour of Sydney. Between Short to Brock. Goes back inside defensive 50 to Kelly. Just to step around his opponent. It's towards centre wing. Big fly, Heaney! Oh my goodness! He's already a Mark of the Year winner. And that will be in contention. That's an enormous fly. Up into the air, he rose back into the team and dragged it in. Almost crashed onto the point of his head as he landed. He's okay, and the kick is into the right forward pocket. It's across the boundary line for a throw-in.
Good hops.
Give us another replay. Over the top of Harley Reid at full stretch, and just was able to put his hands down and his arms, the forearms, to cushion the landing. Wow. That's huge from Heaney. Spun back in again. Grundy front position. There's going to be a free kick here. It's going the opposite way. Flynn was being held, and he'll have the free kick for the West Coast Eagles deep in their left back pocket. 5-2-32 the Swans. The Eagles 5 behind. 27 gone in the first.
Flynn kicks to the wing. Big pack flies again. Dersma couldn't take the mark. It spilled to Waterman. He had it knocked away from him. Jordan through to Kern over the Swans. Now to Papley. Handball to Heaney. Run down from the side. Brock got him. Umpire said it was knocked out in the tackle. Everyone thinks it's holding the ball. They've all stopped. The umpire's screaming at them to play on, and the Eagles will come away with it. Kelly to Reid. Back to Kelly. To the southern side to Davis. Here go the Eagles. Kick inside the forward 50, looking for Waterman. It's shallow. Rampy dropped the mark though. The Eagles still on the hunt at right half forward. Rampy, as they say, cleverly disguised towards the boundary. The Eagles fans didn't think so.
Might not have tackled him.
It looked like a tackle. Everyone in the stadium, including as we see the replay, oh, that's enough of a tackle for me.
Terrible call.
Everyone stopped, and the umpire was screaming that it was not a free kick as the ball's tossed back in and Flynn punches it inside the forward 50 and out of bounds. It's not an exaggeration. Every single person on the field stopped. The ball was right next to him, and the umpire was getting closer saying, pick it up, go. They don't have to if they don't want to, but that's okay. Ball spun back in. Grundy tapped it straight to Roberts for the Swans. Snap into the middle of the ground. Too shallow. Ricocheted off Amadi's shin to Hoff for the Eagles. To Baker. Sidestepped around one. Handball to Kelly. Left foot kicks a wobbler. Just beyond left half forward. Lloyd was out to meet with the Swans, tapped it to Corey Warner, now to Amati, handball to Lloyd, handball to McInerney, kick inside 50, Papley takes the mark, he's got players streaming forward, deepest one is Cunningham, instead it goes to Heaney, knocks it to his advantage, and then just soccers through the most casual of goals to get Sydney's 6th. 6-2-38 the Swans. 5 behind the Eagles. Margin is 33 points. 29 minutes played in the first term. Saturday footy on ABC Sports. Sharrod Wellingham and Shane Woewodin.
Again, straight off the turnover, but it was a really unnecessary turnover from Kelly, who had numbers around him. And they've got to know that they've got to work back. They've got to defend as soon as they turn over, because Sydney are slingshotting so fast.
You've got to snap in transition.
That was as casual as you like. Heaney had time to pick the ball up if he'd wanted to. Just
Grundy's hit out from deep if he stopped it. Was elite.
Grundy went underneath at that time. This time it'll be a free kick against him for crossing the centre line in the ruck contest. Flynn will get it.
Flynn did the old dodge back to him.
He did. Duck, dodge, dip. Dodged.
Dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
That's right. Plays on by hand to Brock, running by. Sandy Brock will kick towards full forward for the Eagles. Went over the top of Waterman, who immediately turns as if to suggest the delivery could have been better. Carlton was happy to see it across the boundary line for a throw-in. Left full forward for West Coast. Half an hour gone opening term. Earlier today, Port by 42 against the Tigers. Ball put back in. Grundy front position. Bounced off him. Went to Gather. Gave it to McInerney. Hurried kick around the body. Up into the Edwards right half back. Spills out eventually to Rampy. He gets a kick away as the siren sounds for quarter time. But on the scoreboard has been all the Swans. 6-2-38 to West Coast. 5 behinds. The goal kickers look like this. Joel Amati's got 2. And then singles to Heaney, Sarong, Curnow and Lloyd. 6-2-38 Sydney. 5 behinds the Eagles, repeating the other game earlier today. Port by 42, 13-12-90 to Richmond's 6-12-48. Wherever you're listening on Saturday footy on ABC Sport, be it on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC Listen, look for the AFL button. It's the Swans who lead by 33 points.
Get your footy fix with ABC AFL Daily Podcast. Corbin Middlemass and Ben Cameron are joined by a cast of AFL legends to pull apart the biggest stories in Aussie rules. Search for the ABC AFL Daily Podcast on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Handballs across to a teammate in Roberts, who kicks the top of the goal square. Amati takes the mark for the Swans. That was way too easy for the visitors. They'll have a set shot from 10 metres out, almost directly in front. He snaps around the body, as casual as you'd like. 30 seconds in, the Swans have the first goal on the board. Amati kicks it.
Worked it onto Papley, inside forward 50 again, and leading out to Marcus Curnow. They're doing as they please, the Swans, for a second goal for Sydney in the opening 5 minutes. Boots cross the 50 from deep in the right forward pocket, kicks on its way, splits the middle.
Straight to Roberts, inside 50 to Amati, who is running rampant over the West Coast Eagles. Amati comes in, strikes it beautifully from range, turns to the crowd, gets nothing from them, but gets plenty from the Sydney Swans players. That's his second.
Sheldrick spinning at centre-half forward, putting it inside the attacking 50. Bounce went the way of Sarong, threw it on the boot towards goal. Has it got the carry? It has. A Sarong kicking a goal at Perth Stadium, but this time in the red and white of Sydney. And they've got their 5th. It's towards centre wing. Big fly, Heaney! Oh my goodness! He's already a Mark of the Year winner. And that will be in contention. That's an enormous fly.
Kick inside 50. Papley takes the mark. He's got players streaming forward.
deepest one is Cunningham. Instead it goes to Heaney, knocks it to his advantage, and then just soccers through the most casual of goals to get Sydney 6th.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Couple of talking points in that quarter. The Eagles in recent weeks have come back from trailing by 22 points against Port and 24 points against North. They're to win today. They'll have to come back by trailing by 33 points at quarter time. More concerns potentially for West Coast looking forward. Will Jake Waterman be investigated for a hit to the stomach of Isaac Heaney that happened during play? Of course, the biggest concern for West Coast again, Sydney would be delighted to be up 6-2, 28 to 5 behind. It's another slow start for the Eagles. Whatever they did during the week didn't work. Shane Woewodin and Sharrod Willingham.
I certainly didn't, but it's pretty hard to come up against a midfield of Warner, Heaney getting absolute silver service from the big man in Grundy. I think that, we spoke about it. It's going to be the hardest thing that West Coast as a team and Flynn come up against today is how on earth they stop the influence of Grundy and his ability to just give his midfielders first use and first hands is standing out unbelievably loudly right now.
Well, he's got 6 hit-outs to advantage already in a quarter of footy, which is alarming. Very, very big numbers too. So,
and you kind of mentioned it, but they're just not snapping on defence. Like, it's such a big part of football now is turnover football. If they're going to be 2% off with their skill and not quick enough to snap into defend, they're going to get so exposed. And we saw 3 out of the 6 goals were turnover transition straight down the other end and into a pretty empty forward 50 where the forwards had a plethora of choices,
opportunities. And I think Heaney's taken full advantage of the James Jordan tag on Harley Reid. Jordan's come from half forward, comes up, takes Harley as a mid, so it's effectively then a free Sydney Swans midfielder via half back from West Coast, who are the extras. So,
and we saw a couple of times throughout that quarter, Baker as that high half back who doesn't have anybody on him, but then they still had the +1 as well. So effectively +2 Eagles behind the ball, and credit to them, they were able to stifle their exits from their forward 50. So Sydney a couple of times rushed it coming out, and West Coast were able to turn it over in the centre of in the front half, which is good setup and good structuring. But I think what they need to get to work in is how they stop the stoppage influence.
Absolutely.
Just trying to have another look for that hit, Waterman.
It was a swinging arm through the contest.
It's on Mills, by the way. Apologies, I said Heaney. There doesn't look to be a lot in it. It looks like he's almost reaching.
We went through it at the tribunal last week in the waffle.
But you could say that he's attempting to tackle very easily.
Yeah. They don't like.
Got to have a good reason.
We've already seen.
About to get the ball and tackling it.
We've already seen this week that they don't like a hit to the guts anymore. Which I'm actually
changed the rules, haven't they? It's an automatic week.
Well, I'm actually all in favour of that, but I'm not sure that is a sneaky punch to the stomach. I reckon that is more a player reaching, trying to get the football, even attempting to tackle the player running by, who just breaks through. Will Hayward, of course, been offered a match for striking George Wardlaw in the third quarter of last game.
Did Clarko get a week for his strike?
No, but that was a solid punch to the stomach as well. Second term underway, and Sydney will get the clearance immediately. McInerney kicking towards right half forward, over the top of it. Brock couldn't mark it, tries to kill the football. More players will pile in here. 51 out from the Swans attacking goal at right half forward. We'll ball it up. Lindsay, one of the last players up off the deck. Sydney now going to the Farmer Freeway end in this second term. One down by the Swans to Warner. Kick was smothered by Kelly. Well done by the Eagle. Hand pass went to Reid, immediately tackled by Jordan, who has not let Reid out of his sight at all. The hard tag going on Harley. Throwing up. Grundy slapped it down. Papley met it. Got hit. Allen coming one way. Ball jarred free. Lindsay gets a kick away for West Coast towards left half back. Running with the flight of the football. Sarong. Good mark. Sarong for the Swans. Comes back to McCartan. Furthest man back. McCartan will look to play on by hand to Blakey. He'll kick out towards Mills, who then marks on the commentary wing. right on the logo. 33 points, Sydney's lead. Kicks towards left half forward. Ball bounce in front of Grundy. It got away from Flynn. Kicks back inboard. Precisely measured. Finds Roberts. It's a congested forward 50 for Sydney right now. Roberts takes a couple of strides. He'll kick towards full forward. Going up and punching it. The ground was Young. It's been kept in play. Ginbey forced to gather. Getting it away towards Duggan and then to Allen. They were lucky. Sliding through Lindsay. Slid at it. Missed the lot. Kick towards left half back. Bice wasn't able to get it. McInerney looked to work it back in. Bice tries a second time, or Milliken rather. And then that's going to be a holding the ball against Cripps, is it? It's coming back here to Milliken, who'll have it at right half forward for Sydney.
Milliken has ball in hand. Cripps wasn't happy with the decision. It goes the Swans' way. Milliken sends it back inside the forward 50. McDonald gets to the front. Can't mark. Off hands. Papley. Roves. Snaps. Goals. And there's the celebration. He takes off running in game 200. Tommy Papley does a quick lap of the boundary. Fist bumps towards the crowd. And now is embraced by all the Sydney Swans on the ground. They come from everywhere. Hugs and high fives aplenty as he gets himself on the board in game 200. Tom Papley kicks goal 307 and the Swans have their 7th. 7-2-44 Sydney. West Coast just 5 behinds. Margin quickly out to 39 points.
Crumming 101.
Yeah, that is crumming 101. Baker didn't give him an inch then. If you're ever showing a small forward a clip, you would show them that one right there. He was literally starting
right next to
half an inch of Baker.
Needs to take a breath after the celebration as Grundy wins it down again, dominating that. Kick towards the wing. Allen knocked it down. They'll get the free kick, the Eagles, and they'll take advantage through Kelly. Kicks towards left half forward. Archer Reid tries to keep it in. Got pushed over the boundary line. Clever play came from Milliken. The ball is across the boundary line. They've decided eventually it will be a free kick. That took a long time for the umpires to sort out here. Crowd certainly thought it was. A lot of the players did. Finally, free kick has been spotted, and Archer Reid will have it. He's about 65 from goal. Kicks with the right towards the teeth of goal. It's off hands and tumbles across the behind line to the left for a minor score. Another minor score. The Eagles are 6 behinds. The Swans are 7-2-44. 4 gone in the second.
Blakey plays on, runs his full measure. Handballs to Milliken. Good acted hands by Dersma, who knocked it out of bounds at right half forward for the Eagles, just to try and lock the ball back in. The Eagles, by the way, had more inside 50s in the first quarter than the Swans. Swans have edged ahead right now, 16-15 in that count. Clearance count 14-9 the Swans' way. Ball comes back in, try to win possession with the clearances Sydney and Heaney, and eventually Roberts runs it out of bounds. So they'll ball it back in, just beyond the paint of 50 at right half forward for West Coast. Still hunting their first goal. Harley Reid locked in with James Jordan at the front of this pack. Ball gets tapped down. Heaney now gathers from Grundy, who was paid the free kick. They go quickly, the Swans. Kick up towards Patley. Good mark going back with a fly. Inside the centre square, a wave of Swans running. Handball to Bias. Now to Warner. Inside 50 and finds a West Australian, but it's one in Sydney Swans colours. And it's Logan McDonald who'll go back and have the chance for his first goal. Goal number 100 as well for Logan McDonald, which I'm sure a couple of Perth Demons supporters in the box will be very happy with. The Waffle Club he was drafted from. Here he comes, Logan McDonald. Back in front of his home crowd. Set shot is away to the left. Goal umpire shuffles a lot and he won't bring up career goal 100 just yet. 7-3-45 Sydney, West Coast, 6 behind. 6 minutes played in the second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Lindsay, those short, sliding out. McCarthy takes the mark. And will get 50 as well.
Didn't man a mark.
Curnow pointing at. So we brought up just shy of the centre circles. West Coast, fair to say, needs something. McCarthy, long inside forward 50. Waterman underneath it, outmarked at the back by Melican. Just in the right spot, was strong, held his position, took the mark. Went to Blakey, stepped around inside Archer Reid. Left a couple of divots in the turf. Kick towards centre half back. No mark taken. Spilled here for Dersma. Hands it to the other number 1 draft pick in Reid. Under pressure from Rampy. Hand pass back to Dersma. Now towards Graham to Reid again. Kicks the Eagles into the right forward pocket. Going up and making sure it was over the boundary line for a throw-in. Good bit of play from Bice. Determined that Cripps wouldn't be able to mark the footy. Throwing about 40 out from the Eagles attacking goal. They're heading to the city end of Perth Stadium in this second term, to the right of our broadcast position.
Flynn and Grundy battle for front position. Grundy got a hand to it towards the boundary though. Champion there for the Eagles. Couldn't take possession as Grundy ushers him out of bounds. He awarded a free kick, thought it came off Champion's foot, but the umpire says happy to toss the ball back into play. Charlie Reid trying to get himself going. Flynn this time in front of Grundy, who eventually got hands to it. Tapped it down to Blakey, then to Rowbottom. The Swans go out the far side. Right half back, Sarong has a player over the top running to space in Cunningham. Terrific kick. Found him at full pace on the stretch on the southern side. The late inclusion, Harry Cunningham, showing he's still got a bit of pace in the old legs. Kicks up towards right half forward. McDonald one-on-one with his Eagles opponent in Young. Free kick paid. Advantage goes the way of the Swans. Comes to McInerney, who puts it through for a goal. The Swans pile on another. While the Eagles are getting it forward, they're not getting much out of it. The Swans now, 8 unanswered goals. 8-3-51. West Coast, 6 behinds. 8 minutes played in the second term. The margin's up to 45 points. Sharon Wellingham and Shane Woden.
Well, they're getting it inside their forward 50, West Coast, but everything is wide and it's resulting in a boundary throw-in. And what's happening from that is a slingshot circa 2012 Sydney Swans.
And they explode.
They just are ripping from the back line, aren't they?
Can't go with them in transition.
West Coast are getting absolutely crushed. This red and white scoring machine. Flynn is able to win one down in the middle. Graham went out after it, got tackled, holding the ball.
Holding the man.
Oh, holding the man. I thought that was going the other way for a moment. It's going against Blakey for holding him without the football. Eagles fans will be delighted to get that free kick. He's moved it out towards Duggan, then back to Brock. Stands on the logo, commentary wing. Long kick deep inside forward 50. Big pack up. No mark taken. Archer Reid had 2 goes at it. Wicks gets a clearing kick away beyond defensive 50. Over the top of it, Duggan. Pressure came from Rowbottom. Tried to work it out in the direction of Lloyd. Going in Graham, went one way. Picked up by Blakey of the Swans to Rampy. Tackled by Schoenberg. Hand pass came out the side. It's going to be locked in again. Ball up will be the call. Umpire surging in. Receives the ball from Duggan, who's at the bottom of the pack. Immediately throwing up. Grundy trying to take clean possession, couldn't. Graham gathers, kicks towards full forward. Waterman out, tried to tap it back into the corridor. Bice met it coming the other way. Hand pass to no one in particular. Cripps picked it up, gave it to Waterman. Centering kick around the body, marked by Sarong. Last man back in his defensive goal square for the Swans. And he'll move it out to the right back pocket. Comes eventually to Rowbottom. Rowbottom will kick towards centre wing. Oh, through the hands. Corey Warner couldn't take the mark.
But he became tackler and got the Eagles opponent holding the ball, and now they take advantage. McInerney kicked towards Curnow. Wasn't a great one. Beat him on the half volley. It spilled to Jimby. He always coughed it up. Ball back in congestion. Jimby gets back onto it. Handballs towards Hoff. The Eagles work it down the southern side. Shanahan down behind play. Hoff handballs further afield to Lindsay. The overlap on towards Schoenberg. He couldn't gather. Now gathered by the Swans. Jordan running along the boundary on the outer side. Handball to Corey Warner. Shows a bit of dash. Breaks a tackle. Handball back to Bias. Has runners in support. Cunningham is one of them. Loops the handball to him. Kick inside the forward 50. Jimmy stands in front. Can't take the mark. Curnow came through and laid the spoil. Now Chad Warner's diving in, trying to win the ball. He can't. And the ball's locked up inside forward 50.
That's a free kick to Charlie Curnow.
It actually is. Shanahan came up second best, but it probably should have been contact below the knees. The Shanahan went low. Row bottom from the restart. Handball to Corey Warner. High kick inside forward 50. The Eagles spoil each other. Ball out the back. Young gathers, or gets first to it. Didn't gather in the end. Eventually did. Tackled by Lloyd. Umpire, benefit of the doubt. Blew the whistle pretty quickly. And we'll toss it up. Left forward pocket for the Swans. They lead by 8 goals.
Grundy tapped it back inboard from the restart. Taken here by McCarthy. Got the arms free for the Eagles to Graham, who stabs the pass short.
First touch.
Finds Matt Owies. His first touch. Had 23 minutes on the ground in the opening term. Didn't touch the football. Now back on the ground for about 6. Finally gets a possession. Kicks towards the logo commentary wing. No mark taken. Bias at the back of the pack gathers. Kicks around the body towards left half forward. 2-on-2 battle. No mark taken. Spill down to Wicks. Got the arms free. Hand pass to Warner. Breaks into space at centre half forward. Gives it to Blakey. 40 out from goal. Spots Curnow. Free in the right forward pocket. He got away from Jinby for just a moment. And he gratefully accepts the football and takes a mark. 25 from goal.
They're just more efficient when they go forward, isn't it? Sydney. Well, West Coast only -1 inside 50. The scoreboard says 51-6.
It's a tight angle in the right forward pocket. Curnow works it around the body, snaps his seconds. It's a procession of red and white at Perth Stadium. It's all Sydney. 13 into the second term. The Swans 9-3-57. The Eagles, it's like we've gone back to 2023. 6 behinds. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport, on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and streaming on ABC Listen. Let's head downstairs to the boundary. Bridget Lacey.
Yes, the tough thing for West Coast is that Isaac Heaney, Chad Warner and Callum Mills were all on the bench for the same sort of 5 minutes just recently, and they were still scoring goals during that time. Just keeping an eye on Angus Sheldrick, who's obviously a WA boy as well. He's been on the bench for about 20 minutes now, but the club tells me there's no issues. They're just saving their rotations.
Use of the 23rd man.
Ball back in the middle. Amadi doing the ruck work against Duff Tytler. No one can take possession. Rowbottom tried to hack it forward. Kelly overran it for West Coast. Spilt though to McCarthy. The Eagles go forward. Long kick inside forward 50, and McCartan got their first drop, the chest marker. Now the Swans are under pressure. Wicks tries to clean it up. Now Melican steps through traffic, kicks to the outer side, looking for Lloyd. Has Lindsay for company, manages to gather. Handball to Sarong. Oh, well done. Cut off by Duff Tytler. He loops the handball forward. Finds a teammate in Owies. Spins out of trouble. Kicks inside the forward 50. McCartan in front of Waterman again. The Swans can't take possession. Cripps. Little handball to Duff Tytler. Breaks the tackle. Handball over the top to Graham. Snaps around the body. Looking for the Eagles first. It's off hands. And through for a minor score. Another one. 7 behinds for the Eagles. 9-3-57 for the Swans. A margin of clean 50 points, 15 minutes into the second term.
Sydney. Go through the right back pocket. Jordan gets it again. Seeing it from Mills and then kicks into the middle of the ground. Chance to sweep it forward. Here's Chad Warner again from McDonald. Warner bounces a kick inside forward 50. Duggan stuck the hand out. Couldn't gather it cleanly. Warner went one way. Curnow the other way. They couldn't quite pick it up. Eventually the Eagles were able to mop it up. It came through Duff Tytler. Worked it to Duggan, and then Kelly marks 50 out from his defensive goal at left half back. Kelly with the bright fluoro yellow boots on. Took a bit of a run and then kicks and turns it over. Shy of centre wing for Sydney. Wicks marks. He's got options on everywhere. And short to McInerney. Pops on over the top to McDonald. Playing on the wing at the moment. Logan McDonald. Brings it back inboard. Wanted McInerney. Couldn't mark it under pressure from Graham. Slapped between his legs. That was clever. from Blakey. And he tried to work it on. The Eagles can intercept the football. It comes through Baker to Hoff. Hand pass over the top. Baker needs to slap it on. Does so for Graham. Graham kicks West Coast out towards right half forward. The boundary will beat everybody, and that will be the lasso rule. So the Swans will have the free kick at left half back, taken by Bice.
Bice goes short to Heaney. Just beyond left half back. Kicks short to the milestone man in Papley. Even when he's standing still, he has energy. Has the bright yellow boots on. Not one for attention, Tom Papley. Plays on, goes short to Heaney. Thought about handballing it back, wasn't on. Just defensive side of the wing, goes back to Papley. They're just sharing the footy around. He wants 50, not forthcoming. Handballs to the run of Bice. Ran into a little bit of trouble. Kicks it up towards Warner. And the ball's going to come back. I think Bice was blocked after he kicked it. So... ball coming all the way back to Riley Bice, who'll go short immediately to Blakey. Can play on if he wants. No, the ball's coming back to Bice. What was wrong with that? It's behind the mark. Umpires have lost the plot. Bice goes short, more direct this time, and finds a Rowbottom on the attacking edge of the centre square, and they'll allow that to be paid. Rowbottom kicks inside the forward 50. Amarty's the only target. Shanahan got there for West Coast, couldn't mark, but Amarty's been paid the free kick.
Shepherding.
Went to ground, and as Shane Woden says, a blocking free will go the way of Joel Amarty, who already has 2 goals. Oh, not a lot in it. Sharrod, Wowie?
Yeah, nah, not a lot in that one. Actually had eyes on the ball, Sandy Brock.
A little bit stiff. So Joel Amarty looking for a 3rd goal. In this second term, Amarty's kick misses to the left. Ball don't lie, maybe, as they say. 9-4, 58, the Swans. The Eagles just 7 behind, margin 51 points. We've travelled 18 minutes in this second term at Perth Stadium.
So Lindsay, the Eagles draftees from last year, goes short and stabs it into the chest of Davis, who marks. Still inside his defensive 50. Runs inboard from the boundary in the left back pocket. Kicks past the logo out of sight. Melican saw it go by. Bursting onto a champion for the Eagles. Kicks into the left forward pocket and finds Archer Reid. Best bit of play from West Coast so far in this quarter. Archer Reid, surely for the Eagles, must go back and kick this. 51 points, the lead is Sydney's.
Great pickup. Got through it and good leg inside 50.
Malachi champion. Well, he's talking about he did burst through after he gathered the football at pace. Archer Reid wipes his hands. The yellow Sherrin now held between them. Close to the boundary, left forward pocket, 45 from goal. He's hit the left-hand goal post. Hands go to heads all around Perth Stadium. 8 behinds the Eagles. It's 50 points again, the margin in favour of the Swans, who are 9 goals forward, 19 gone in the second.
Quick kick to Melican, then to Jordan, inside the centre square, now to Rowbottom. Could be a goalless first half for the Eagles. Handball to Bice, back to Jordan. Long kick inside the forward 50, over the top Curnow, couldn't mark. Shanahan was there for West Coast. Now Young is wrapped up. For as bad as they've been in the last 4 seasons, West Coast, they've never gone goalless in that period in a first half of football. Ball tossed up in the air. Grundy takes it out of the ruck. Kick on goal misses. Away to the left.
No score as a push and...
No.
No?
They've waved the flag, so...
No?
No? Okay, they waved the flag and now they'll have to do the whole cancel. So there's a free kick from that.
And it's being brought up as a 50.
It's a free kick from the stoppage and a 50-metre penalty.
Does it feel like the umpires...
They don't really have a hold on this game, do they?
No.
And the players are confused, the fans are confused, and unfortunately for our listeners, we're confused. So it's a free kick to West Coast and a 50-metre penalty from the stoppage. So man of the mark stands.
That should have been another 50.
Man of the mark stands on the defensive side of the centre square. Lindsay will take it. Kicks it deep inside the forward 50. Flynn can't mark at ground level. Owies, handball back. Trying to find a teammate. Hoff got it to Cripps, run down. Ball popped out. The Swans win it back. Handball forward, couldn't find a target. Warner picks it up. Oh, broke one tackle, then broke a second. Now takes a bounce, kicks inside the forward 50. Papley marks, snaps around the body, and Curnow marks. Chad Warner, that's the talent on display. Broke 2 tackles with the fend off, took a bounce, and then hit the target.
That was exceptional.
Curnow plays on, snaps around the body, and that's 3 for Charlie. Curnow has his third. Sydney are 10-5-65. The Eagles are yet to kick a goal. 8 behinds. The margin is now 57 points, 22 played in the second term. Sharrod Wellingham, Shane Woewodin.
That's just raw power, as you said, Wowie. Explosiveness. Gathers, fends off Kelly, fends off Davis, and then a beautiful delivery to Papley, who saw the pick-up and just absolutely bolted off towards goal. And this happened a little while ago with West Coast. They got into the habit of just dumping it inside their forward 50 without any method, and it's what's happening, and it's what's fueling the rebound energy from Sydney.
Just going back through, when West Coast last had a goalless first half. It's a while ago now, but they're facing one right as we speak. Reid will get a clearance away for West Coast towards left half forward from the centre circles. Wicks took the mark though, moved it on to Grundy. Marks and plays on by hand, running through Rampy. Gets a hand pass on to McInerney, run down. Oh, he's got him. Immediately the Eagles take the advantage. Davis kicks inside forward 50. No mark taken. Grundy's there at the drop. Interesting looking hand pass. Got it away though. Ball still in dispute. Just inside the centre square. Flynn looks to dive on it. He came from the side. Champion the other way. Player underneath all of that is a Swan. Eventually they'll get up. It's Sheldrick. Ball up the call. Grundy front position. Got it down. Going by though an Eagle. McCarthy gathered, kick inside forward 50. Duff Titler couldn't mark it. Pressure came from McCartan, still there to be won. Champion put his head over the football, stolen away by Heaney, who then lost it. Comes to Jordan, hand pass into traffic, back to Bice, to Jordan again, now to Blakey. Swans work it beyond their defensive 50 at centre half back. Hand pass out to Sarong. He's got options forward, comes in the direction by a hand of McDonald, just forward of the logo, commentary wing. Had a moment to assess his options, found Blakey, marked at centre half forward, gets a kick towards Cunningham in the right forward pocket, and the late inclusion kicks a goal for the Swans. It's getting embarrassing now, and we're not even at half time. 24 minutes gone in the second. Sydney have kicked 11. 11-5-71. The Eagles have 8 behinds. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sports, and our experts are Sharrod Wellingham and Shane Woewodin.
This isn't football, this is Demolition Derby.
As soon as they win the ball,
Monster trucks.
Look at Grundy in this one. Just his explosion from the contest. He's an option 2 here inside 50.
I think I signalled to you as soon as it turned over at half back, I said goal, because they had numbers lining up through the middle. Lining up.
They've lost all their width to their West Coast.
Eagles still looking for a goal. Swans, they got no troubles finding him. Ball back in the middle. Flynn v Grundy. Grundy taps it to space. Harley Reid shakes the tackle of McInerney, then shakes the tackle of Papley. Handballs to Kelly. They kick inside forward 50. All on his own. Waterman has to sit. It does. He snaps. He goals. The Eagles are on the board. They get there first. And they narrowly avoid what would have been their first goalless opening half since 2012. The crowd cheer in relief rather than excitement. 1-8-14 West Coast. Sydney are 11-5-71. 57-point margin restored. 26 play in the second term. Took a bit of Harley Reid brilliance out of the middle. Shane Woewodin and Sharrod Wellingham.
It was a beautiful shark because Grundy still got first hands to the hit out, but Harley Reid read it beautifully and was able to shrug off, as you said, a couple of tackles. One of them got paid high and advantage. It was a missed kick, but at least it was to Waterman's advantage as well, the inside 50.
Grundy won the ruck tap. He's going to get a free kick here anyway. And then 50 with the ball not being returned to him. That's interesting.
So Flynn crossed the line.
Yeah.
Must have been the free kick.
And then when the ball wasn't thrown back immediately to Grundy, 50 metres is there.
Yeah. Pay a high price, don't you?
Absolutely.
Harley
Reid, the player who gave it away. Brodie Grundy. 3 goals for the season so far. On his way in, he's straight in front. Brodie Grundy kicking from 40 outs. Puts the hands out to the side, does a little aeroplane celebration, points towards the coach's box. And then there's high fives all around as Sydney hit back immediately. 12-5-77 to 1-8-14. 27 gone in the second term. Harley Reid just knocked the ball back to Heaney. Of course, the free kick had gone to Grundy, so that's what the 50 metres was for.
He actually barely had this possession of it. He didn't actually throw it, he just knocked it away from himself.
Just sort of tapped it in the direction of Heaney.
Do you feel like the umpires need half-time?
Oh, yeah.
Just to reset as well? Like, it's been a bit of a chaotic half. I'm not saying right or wrong, there's just been a lot of confusion. I think players and everyone involved, they might just need to reset themselves. In the middle, Grundy didn't jump. Flynn tapped it down. Kelly got first hands to it. Handball to Harley Reid, running in the wrong direction, takes a bounce. Handball to Duggan, little hot, drops it. Now Corey Warner, on hands and knees, gets back to his feet. Handballs to McInerney, the Swans inside 50. Lloyd chips over to Papley, too hot, and it's marked by Jimby. It's called play on, though, touched, and no one can hear the umpire, so everyone stands still like it was a mark. And Jimby can go short to Duggan. Has it inside his own defensive 50. Called to play on. Kicks the broadcast swing. Dersma flew high, reeled it in with one hand. Wasn't a huge opponent in front of him in Jake Lloyd. It was a nice grab by the number 1 pick who goes inboard. Defensive side of the centre square to Baker, who... So the man of the mark didn't initially stand. Baker called to the umpire and said, that's 50. He put his hand up and said no, and then changed his mind and said, actually, you're right, that is 50 metres, and now he's marching him forward. Yeah, right call, but the umpire initially looked like he said, no, don't tell me what to do, but you're right. So Baker gets marched, man of the mark will stand 49 metres out.
That's Papley.
50 metres to Liam Baker, and that's the distance he'll have to kick. The co-captain. Drop punt on the way. He's got the journey. He's got the accuracy. They might be getting smashed, the Eagles, but the fans are still finding their voice. 2-8-20 West Coast. Sydney at 12-5-77. Margin is 57 points. About 90 seconds remaining in this second term. Impressive mark by Durst on the wing as in the replay. He palmed it.
And great leg inside. I'm wondering if Papley had kept running rather than stopping 20 metres away, he may have got away with it.
Just watching the replay again, you could see the umpire say no. Yes.
Yeah, come with me.
It's not the reason that West Coast have been belted. And it's not the reason Sydney is so far in front, but the umpiring today has not been tremendous.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Grundy takes clean possession from the ruck battle, kicked it straight into traffic, ricocheted down, eventually came back the way of Sheldrick, hand pass to Warner, broke the tackle of McCarthy. Well done, Chad Warner, swept the hand pass forward to Wicks, hand passed over his shoulder, found Heaney, worked it towards Sarong, bounced in front of him, had one go at it, then a second, now he's tackled over the boundary line by Shanahan. 49 out from the Swans attacking goal. The entirety of Perth Stadium now in shade. The artificial lights on the roof yet to take full effect. 57-point lead to Sydney. Gone past the half an hour mark. And the umpire spins it back in. One down again by Grundy. Came to Papley. Hard up against the boundary. Centering kick towards full forward. Shanahan went up. Front of 3. Got a hand to it. Spilled away from him and over for another boundary throw-in. This time only 5 or so metres to the right of the right-hand behind post. Is there an opportunity for another goal here for Sydney as we close in on half-time? It's a shallow throw-in. Rucks work their way towards it. Came off Grundy, down towards Heaney, kicked around the body only as far as Baker. Stood at the edge of the defensive goal square on the left-hand side of it. And he took the mark. Now he's told to play on. Wobbly looking kick beyond defensive 50. Bice was there, won it to ground. Came out in the direction of McInerney, gave it to Wicks, just pops it inside forward 50 to Jordan. Centering kick, Heaney. Easy as you like. He could have gone long if he wanted to. Warner was leaping up and down, desperate to grab his attention at right full forward, but Heaney said, no, comfortable enough from here. He'll put boot to ball from just inside 50. He'll start in line with the left-hand goalpost.
Not sure how Heaney's standing in his forward 50 unopposed.
There has been a bit of that today. Sydney just toying with West Coast. After the siren of half-time, Heaney's on his way in, kicks towards goal. It's just a bit of icing on a very red and white cake from this first half that has been all those in Swans colours. Heaney's got his second. Sydney in complete control at the major break. They are bereft of ideas, West Coast. And Sydney, after the bye last week, have arrived fresh, looking absolutely stunning. 13-5-83 the Swans to 2-8-20 the Eagles. Half-time here at Perth Stadium. It was a 33-point lead to Sydney at quarter time. It's a 63-point lead here at half-time. The goal kickers for the Swans, Charlie Curnow's got 3, Joel Amati with 2. 2 to Isaac Heaney and singles to Grundy, Papley, Sarong, McInerney and Lloyd. For West Coast, just the 2 goals to speak of. Jake Waterman and Liam Baker. Both of them coming in that final turn, that second turn. Eagles make their way off the ground. The Swans heading towards their rooms as well. There's a bit to think about for the Eagles after 2 straight wins. Wins that gave those in blue and gold plenty of hope. This has been a harsh reality check these first 2 quarters. 13-5-83 the Swans, 2-8-20 the Eagles. It's half-time. What have you made of things? Brownlow medalist Shane Woden, AFL Premiership player Sharad Willingham on ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, we're seeing a very, very slick outfit in Sydney at the moment, and their ability to not just own stoppage that we spoke about, but they're rebounding. So when they are allowing West Coast to get it inside their forward 50, which was, 27 times inside the forward 50 for the half and 29 to Sydney. So they got it in there, but they got it wide and it resulted in a stoppage. They got it to poor positions. I don't think we saw a real mark inside forward 50 where we thought here's a 100% shot on goal that's going to result in the 6 points. So it was 4 marks inside 50 to 12. I reckon 3 of the 4 were on the junction almost. Yep. And, Waterman's one that we spoke about was almost as far out as his one from last week. But their ability to rebound and link and just go and work together in a wave it's exceptional. It's elite. It is great to watch, but it's hard to watch from a West Coast point of view.
Yeah, 18 scoring shots from 29 inside 50. So,
it's just a wave coming at the defenders. It's not like the defenders are really getting beaten in one-on-ones. It is purely just getting done by a wave, and they're just having no chance of shutting off options.
And generally they've got a spare.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Sydney have worked harder inside their forward 50.
Procession, really. Grundy's doing what he wants in and around the ball. Heaney, who's best on at the moment with his 18, but he's kicked 2.
18 and 2.
He's the free mid that, as though Harley Reid, go and stand on Heaney and force his 2-on-1 and fight through a 2-on-1 for the rest of the half and really work at that. That's not helping him at the moment. Like Jordan's coming off the square, taking him, and then Heaney or Warner or McInerney, Rowbottom, someone gets off the chain because they're just free running around doing what they want. So their ability to take the ball from inside to out, and as you said, work in numbers forward of the contest, and they're free players inside 50 just because they work so hard. But yeah, to put 13-5 on in a half, and a little bit to work through here, West Coast at half time, and just try and fight, win a quarter, win a 15-minute patch. And they're not going to get back in the contest, but can they salvage something, take something from the game as well?
I wonder what. Yeah, it's a really hard one because they want to go in with their plan and the way they want to, play under McQualter, but do they have to just really strip it back and go, you're one-on-one, it is Dower defending, don't let them outwork you, or are they just not able to stay with Sydney?
No, I just can't go at the moment. Credit to Tim Kelly too. I think Tim Kelly's fighting. I haven't seen him cover this ground for a little while now. And he's done okay. He's fighting the fight for periods of the game in there and doing some of the Tim Kelly stuff. Not overly effective, but finding the footy and fighting the fight. But yeah, it's just broad experience really there, and plus that Sydney outfit compared to West Coast right now. So yeah. But,
so centre bounce, it's only 3-1 stoppages in total. It's 5-3, but it's 8-2 off turnover.
I think 4 from front half, 4 from back half. So
8-2 to 8 goals 2 from turnover in a half of football,
and already kicked 3 from D50.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
those stoppages inside their D50 where you'd be hoping to be proactive and try and hit the scoreboard, but all they're worrying about is making sure that it doesn't slingshot all the way down the other end, because they're so proactive and they're so aggressive coming out of their back line.
Well, that's a big score, 3 goals from D50 in a half from the 26-3 chain. So,
well, what, 5 or 6 for a game is, it's pretty good.
Yeah, so yeah, it looks brutal at the moment for West Coast. It's just a matter of hanging on at the moment, and as I said, salvage something and get something from this last half.
Could be worse. Could follow St George in the NRL, who have lost again today, 32 points to 0 in the NRL.
Eagles.
Dragons.
That's your team, isn't it?
That is my team. Yep, they're going beautifully, the Dragons. Yes, 32 points to blot.
So it could be worse.
Could be worse. The Eagles at least know, their fans would know they've got a couple of wins on the board. Earlier today, Port Adelaide by 42 points, 13-12-90 to Richmond 6-12-48. I'm just repeating here at Perth Stadium. There is a team in red and white doing well, the Sydney Swans. 13-5-83 to 2-8-20, the Swans over the West Coast Eagles. We'll pause. Back with more. Can West Coast mount any sort of a comeback? We'll find out soon enough. Right now, let's take the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. US and Iranian forces are both racing to locate a pilot from a downed US fighter jet in central Iran. Larry Buttrose reports.
US officials say American forces are still searching for a pilot after 2 of their warplanes were downed over Iran and the Gulf. Iran's Revolutionary Guard say they brought down an F-15 fighter with a new anti-aircraft system. US officials say 1 crew member from that aircraft has been rescued, but the other remains missing. A second warplane, an A-10 Warthog, involved in the search, was also shot down, but the pilot managed to eject and was rescued. The downings come just a week after US President Donald Trump said the US and Israel had destroyed Iran's anti-aircraft capability.
The Reuters news agency is reporting that the finance ministers of 5 European Union countries are calling for a tax on windfall profits of energy companies in reaction to rising fuel prices due to the war in Iran. Reuters says it's seen a letter from the ministers to the EU Commission. The finance ministers of Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal and Austria are making the joint call, saying that such a measure would be a signal that we stand united and are able to take action. Oil and gas prices have spiked since the US-Israeli strikes on Iran began on February the 28th, creating a price shock around the world. The South Australian government says it's continuing to monitor the economic and environmental pressures affecting the state's grain and livestock farmers after the cost of fuel and fertiliser was driven up by the Iran conflict. SA's opposition leader, Ashton Herm, today called on the state government to expand its drought loan scheme, which provides low-interest loans to eligible farmers in 3 regions in order to allow farmers across the entire state to apply. In response, the state government spokesperson said the federal and state governments are constantly assessing and responding to the situation around fuel security and the supply chain, and the recent reduction in the fuel excise had brought down petrol and diesel costs by 26.3 cents per litre. They also said the SA government had directed $40 million of GST windfall to reduce the cost of diesel and petrol in SA by a further 5.7 cents per litre, equaling a 32% or 32 cents per litre reduction in the coming weeks. A financial review into Queensland's residential care system has uncovered soaring costs and high executive pay. The report found some CEOs are earning up to nearly $700,000 a year, while providers have also invested in assets like gold and cryptocurrency. Spending in the sector has ballooned to more than $1.1 billion annually, up from around $200 million a decade ago. The Queensland Government has labelled the findings nothing short of disgraceful, with a commission of inquiry set to examine the issue further next week. Police in Canberra have charged a man who allegedly stabbed an officer following a lengthy pursuit across the city's south yesterday. Declan Gooch has more.
The 26-year-old man was allegedly behind the wheel of a car that failed to stop for police yesterday morning in the Canberra suburb of Waniassa. Police began a pursuit when the car was next spotted more than an hour later, during which time the driver allegedly crossed onto the wrong side of the road and drove at police officers. Eventually, police say there was a foot chase after the driver crashed into a tree, and during his eventual arrest, the man stabbed an officer in the arm and torso with a knife. The officer received non-life-threatening injuries, and the man has been charged with a range of offences. Police say the car had been reported stolen in Queensland.
A passerby has rescued a family dog after a large house fire south of Brisbane. The blaze broke out on Wimberley Road at Birunba just before 7:30 this morning. The owners weren't home at the time, but 2 cats have been missing. Acting Station Officer David Fitzgerald says it's unclear what started the blaze.
Half the house was fully involved in flame. We had thick black smoke travelling straight up from the house. Our fire investigation team, in conjunction with Queensland Police Service, will investigate and find a cause for the fire and go from there.
Police in Western Australia have launched a full-scale search operation for a missing Perth woman at a popular tourist site near Albany in the state's south. 51-year-old Naomi Marie Duckett was last seen at the Gap Natural Bridge in Toondarup National Park late on Thursday morning. Air, land and water crews, including helicopters and drones, have been combing the area, with parts of the park closed to the public as the search continues. Ms Duckett is believed to have travelled alone from Perth, and police are urging anyone with information to come forward immediately.
Throws it, goals it.
Get your footy fix
Live and ad-free with ABC Listen.
AFL, NRL, men's and women's.
This season, don't let life get in the way of the footy. Hear it on ABC Listen. This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Melican sends it back inside the forward 50. McDonald gets to the front. Cartmark off hands. Papley roves, snaps, goals! And there's the celebration. He takes off running in game 200.
Spots Curnow, free in the right forward pocket. He got away from Jinby for just a moment, and he gratefully accepts the football and takes a mark. 25 from goal. It's a tight angle in the right forward pocket. Curnow works it around the body, snaps his seconds. It's a procession of red and white at Perth Stadium. It's all Sydney.
Warner picks it up. Oh, broke one tackle, then broke a second. Now takes a bounce, kicks inside the forward 50. Papley marks, snaps around the body, and Curnow marks. Chad Warner, that's the talent on display. Broke 2 tackles with the fend off, took a bounce, and then hit the target. Curnow plays on, snaps around the body, and that's 3 for Charlie. Handballs to Kelly, they kick inside forward 50, all on his own. Waterman has to sit, it does, he snaps, he goals! The Eagles are on the board, they get there first, and they narrowly avoid what would have been their first goalless opening half since 2012.
Came out in the direction of McInerney, gave it to Wicks, just pops it inside forward 50 to Jordan. Centering kick, Heaney. Sydney just toying with West Coast. After the siren of half-time, Heaney's on his way in, kicks towards goal. It's just a bit of icing on a very red and white cake from this first half that has been all those in Swans colours. Heaney's got his second.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
In the Battle of the Birds at Perth Stadium, the Swans are leading very disappointing Eagles. They played like chooks for most of that first half, West Coast. Sydney by 63 points as the Swans look to extend their run to 6 straight games when it comes to wins against West Coast and continue their great run at this stadium. They won their past 6 here as well. It's a place they like coming to, and of course they were here the very first game when this stadium opened and had a big win over West Coast that night as Buddy Franklin went berserk. At the moment though, they're sharing it around a bit. Marty with 2, also handily helped by the likes of Charlie Curnow with a couple as well, and Isaac Heaney with 2 as well for the Sydney Swans. What do the other numbers tell us, Mitch Turner? The one that matters most, Sydney by 63 points. What are the other stats?
Some of the team stats. Sydney have had a lot more of the ball, 199 disposals to 154 contested possessions. They lead that by 18 as well. The clearance count, fairly close. Sydney 21 to West Coast 18. The tackle count, Sydney edge ahead of the West Coast Eagles by 1. Now, the inside 50s, only 30 to 27 the way of the Swans, just 3 more inside 50s. And the hit-outs, 21 to 10. The marks inside 50, though, 12 to 4 Sydney's way. Individually, disposal getters, Isaac Heaney has had 18 disposals to go with his 2 goals. Nick Blakey has had 16. Tom Papley in game 200, 12 touches and a goal. Brodie Grundy, 12 disposals and a goal as well. To go with 19 hit-outs, Jai Sarong with 11, Jordan and McInerney with 11 as well. For the Eagles, Tim Kelly, he has led the way, 17 disposals for them. Brady Hoff has had 13, Tom McCarthy 11, Lindsay and Graham with 9 apiece. The stat that counts the most, though, Sydney Swans, they are 13-5-83. The West Coast Eagles are 2-8-20, a 63-point margin. Hard to believe they've had just 3 more inside 50s.
Can the Eagles do what they did against the Gold Coast Suns back in the first game of the year when they were completely and utterly outplayed in the first half and were able to fight their way back and actually win the second half? Still a lopsided result on the scoreboard, but it gave them something to build to for their past 2 wins. If you're Andrew McQualter, we saw Justin Longmuir dig into the game against Geelong to try and give his Fremantle side a little bit of motivation last night. If you are Andrew McQualter, would you reference that? Would you try to say, look, we need to win this second half. We need to do what we've shown we can do before, which is come out and have a red-hot dip against a quality team with the 3rd and 4th quarters to come?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's all probably Mini can do at the moment is try and focus on coming off at the end of the game with your head held high. And how do you go about that? It's
small things.
It's small things. Making sure that we don't get beaten in contested possession. So you'd say, make sure we win the first half of the 3rd quarter. We're up in contested possessions, and well, you can't really go on inside 50s because they're getting it in there. So you go, all right, well, let's try and not let it exit as easily. Yeah, there'd be small things that they'd be focusing on, and it'll give them a chance to do exactly that, win the half.
Yeah. Half-time was a good chance to reset. I'm interested to see what changes he has made here, whether it's positional or from a strategic point of view. But yeah, just to be able to keep possession for a little while and keep it off Sydney.
Dan from East Perth, send us a text, 0437 774 774 if you'd like to, saying doesn't love having Jobe Shanahan playing behind the ball with the game. You're not trying to sort of kill the game at the moment because you need to actually kick some goals. He'd much rather just see him throwing forward for the rest of proceedings to see what he can do in a marking contest. Can he try and kick some goals for West Coast? What would you do?
Well, he does play forward, but he has gone behind the ball in late in quarters just to be able to stem some flow at times too. But yeah, you can't give. I think on today's performance, I think you can't give Sydney any spares. So keep your 6 ahead, even stretch them back. Otherwise, they're able to use their extra number wherever it may be. Whether it's through the midfield at the moment, that's where they're hurting, and that extra number through the middle, and try and beat them 18 v 18.
Bridget Lacey's downstairs on the boundary bridge.
Yeah, just talking about the coach, interested to see who's starting on the bench to start this second half with them so up against it. The co-captain, Liam Duggan, is starting on the bench, and so is their number 1 ruckman in Matt Flynn. So very interesting call from the coach there.
Players making their way to position. It's been one-way traffic so far. All Sydney on the scoreboard. They lead by 63 points. It's a blue and white spectacle. The LED screens showing some great highlights of West Coast. There are a few that they've found so far in this game. Goals to Jake Waterman and Liam Baker. Can they find a few more moments? Can we get more of a contest here at Perth Stadium? Repeating again earlier today, Port by 42 points over Richmond, 13-12-90 to 6-12-48. And of course, tomorrow, 2 games as well. We'll talk about them at the conclusion of this one. Third quarter underway. Here's Mitch Turner on ABC Sport.
Tough Tyler up against Grundy. Grundy grabs it out of the ruck for Sydney, kicks it towards centre half forward. Papley takes the mark, plays on, kicks inside the forward 50. Curnow can't mark against Jimby, off hands. Out of bounds for a boundary throw in, deep in the Sydney Swans forward line. If it's any consolation, the Eagles have won all of their third quarters so far this season. 17 goals, 11 to 6-7 in total. So they have been good in third quarters. Ball spun back in, shallow throw in. Grundy took it out of the ruck, couldn't find a handball to a teammate. Instead went straight to Duff Tyler, who got it to Harley Reid, tried to take on the tacklers and was gang tackled by a couple of Swans holding the ball. Jake Lloyd will receive the free kick. Harley Reid stands on the paint of 50 at right half forward for the Swans. Into the pocket goes Lloyd, and Heaney able to take, in the end, an uncontested mark in front of Tom McCarthy. He'll go back and probably go around the corner from the right forward pocket. Isaac Heaney. He's already got 2 goals in the first half. It's been a cut above Isaac Heaney. The left foot snap is good. Superstar is the right word. Isaac Heaney has a third to go with his 19 disposals so far. And the Swans strike first and strike early in the second half. 14-5-89 Sydney. West Coast 2-8-20 margin, 69 points. We've played less than 2 minutes in the third term. Sharad Wellingham and Shane Woewodin.
It's an elite finish from Heaney, but the fact that he was able to mark an uncontested forward 50 possession. Who is it?
Just no body contact.
No body contact. McCarthy doesn't want to go near him.
Arguably one of the best forwards in the game too when he plays inside 50. Early game.
It's pretty hard to get a run and jump at the ball if you've got someone pressing their forearm against your chest.
Has taken a stunning mark earlier today. He's involved again. Grundy won it down, got a hand pass to Warner. Well tackled. Duff Tyler got him. Chance to go through Dersma, worked it into the path of Graham. He was well tackled by McInerney, though. He's going to get a free kick, Graham. McInerney just straying into his back. He'll have the free kick, attacking edge of the centre square. Running by McCarthy, receives the hand pass, shoots on goal, misses right. 2-9 West Coast, 2-9-21. The Swans 14-5-89. 2 and a bit gone in the third.
Might have felt like he owed him one, Tom McCarthy. Couldn't quite find the mark. Ball's come out to bite. He's allowed to take a couple of bounces up the wing. Kicks a little chip short to Sarong, who marks. Baker came in the late contact. It was barely 15. The kick's a good one from Sarong. Into the centre square. Warner takes the mark. Handball to Mills. Here go the Swans. Mills kicks out to the far side. Southern side of Perth Stadium. Roberts on the bounce. Takes it. Handballs to Blakey. Kick on goal is through. End-to-end stuff from the Swans. And it's a 15th goal for the visitors. 15-5, Sydney. West Coast are 2-9-21. The margin quickly out to 74 points as Blakey gets his second goal of the season.
Just all too easy. That transition. Do you know what I really liked about that was Sydney's change of angles. So yes, they've come out across the half-back flank, but then the change of angles from Mills and who was the possession before Mills? I think it was Warner inside, and their willingness to take a handball receive just going completely across ground, which just opens up the whole other side. Really impressive to see from up here.
What a display from Sydney as Grundy wins it down in the middle again, but Graham's able to gather. Can't get away from Papley. Pinged. Papley wins the free kick, holding the ball against Graham. Stands in the centre circles. Steps left, takes a bounce, audaciously runs past Graham, kicks towards full forward. Amadi elects to play on. Curnow from the top of the goal square bangs it through for another one. He's got 4. You bet he's back in form, Charlie Curnow. He loves playing West Coast. He loves playing at Perth Stadium. 16 goals now for Sydney. 16-5, 101. West Coast 2-9-21, 5 gone in the third.
Toying with them. There should have been a free kick with Papley fending high. Yeah, great tackle.
So robbed, West Coast.
robbed.
Right in front of us.
Joey the Goose.
Doing it all day, Umpy.
It's been a really positive season for them, West Coast early stages, but this feels like what it's felt like the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it's
like procession. A train wreck, yeah. And the Swans are just too classy. Just too good. Ball back in the middle. Grundy taps it down. Sheldrick onto it on his favoured left side. Handball out towards Warner or Roberts, who taps it forward to Bice. Handball missed the target. Reid put a bump on Sheldrick and put him down. It'll be a free kick coming back to Sheldrick. Sure, it was too unfair. The free kick will go.
I think he was just running his line.
I think he was. The kick quickly taken by Bias, who goes inside 50, and Lloyd marks it in space. Will go back and take the set shot from about 50 metres out, slight angle to the left. I think it was Reid that got him.
Yep.
It was in the play. The ball was there and he just bumped him off it. Probably a bit stiff. But they have cracked down the late bumps, whether they're high or not this year, the AFL. Jake Lloyd looking for goal number 2. The former defender now forward. Kicks from 49 metres out. Goal umpire bends the neck straight up to the sky as it sails over his head. And that's another one for the Swans, a second for Lloyd. And the margin continues to grow. 17-5, 107 the Swans. West Coast 2-9-21. It's an 86-point margin. We've played less than 7 minutes in the third term.
And
is the free kick there? Shane?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen a proper... Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's probably a 50 for...
Dissent
though.
Already 22 possessions to 4 this quarter. Deadly silence in the stadium now.
Deadly silence. That's a lull.
Library-like. Here's Duff Tytler winning it against Grundy. Immediately kicks inside, forward 50, stretching. That's a good mark. They needed it too, West Coast. Chance to go back and have a shot through Archer Reid. More one to the back of the head in the marking contest. He'll have to kick from about 52 out.
It's good from Minnie to throw the kid in. Let him compete. Yeah, absolutely. You throw Dersmer inside.
In they come. Archer Reid's kick on goal. Wasn't too far away. It misses to the right-hand side. Had the carry, not the accuracy. West Coast 2-10-22 to 17-5, 107. 8 gone in the third. It's still all Sydney on the scoreboard.
Quick kick into Mills, who can chip over the top to left half back
to McInerney. Played on. Got himself a little bit of trouble. Has to go back inside defensive 50 by foot where he finds Bice. Only a good user. Just this occasion spears it laterally to Sheldrick, just inside the 50 at left half back. Called to play on. Kicks long down the southern side. Flying from behind Brock. Got nowhere near it. Malikan took the mark. Handballed forward to Lloyd for the Swans. Can take a bounce. Now kick inside 50. West Coast have the numbers. And Shanahan drops back, takes the mark and can chip it short. So Brady Hoff and the Eagles can for now rebound it away from their defensive 50 as he goes back inside to Jinby.
Jinby, not immediately sure where to go. Every avenue's been closed off. He has to take a bounce. Oh, horrible kick. Curnow applied pressure. Scooped on by Papley. Was he taken high? Yes. And he'll have a free kick in the left forward pocket. This will be a chance to kick Papley's second, and it would be a 5th goal to start the half for the Sydney Swans.
Great locate by Sydney, wasn't it? Just Ruben Jimmy had nothing to go to, stepped off his line.
Everyone just sat off him as well.
Yeah.
It almost went 18 v 17.
Already has a goal. Just a highlight, game 200. Papley snapped around the body. This time it's narrow. He misses left. 1 goal, 2 for him. Shakes the head in frustration. 17-6, 108 the Swans. 10-22 the Eagles. 10 gone in the third.
Quick play on out of fullback by McCarthy. Short to Hoff. Goes laterally outside. Right half back to Duggan, who wants to go back inside defensive 50 to Shanahan. The Eagles fans don't like it, but Sydney are strangling them up the field. Back now into the left back pocket for Young. Hasn't had a lot of options, Young, so he kicks long towards the broadcast wing. McCartan flies in front. Can't mark down towards Jinby. Interesting handball from him. Fell the way of Grundy. His handball straight to Flynn. Looking for Champion. Couldn't find him. Boundary line wins out. The Eagles want to hope they can just save a bit of dignity in the last quarter and a half of football here. The margin is 86 points. Ball spun in on the logo on the broadcast side. Grundy had a couple of cracks. Second one tapped it to Sheldrick. Dancing it out of traffic. Handball to McInerney. Slick move by the Swans to Mills. To Sarong. Over the top now to Rowbottom. Inside the forward 50. Big pack going to form. Shanahan over the top. Couldn't mark. Out the back. Brock under pressure. Warner went off the deck. And it was creative and hopeful, but it was away to the left-hand side. 17-7, 109 Sydney, 210-22 West Coast. Margin 87 points. Stand on one leg.
Now officially say Saturday night footy on ABC Sport, on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and streaming on ABC Listen. Balls towards left half back for the Eagles, trying to work it away. McInerney got a hand pass out, cleverly done to Sarong, to Rowbottom, who got bumped after he got the kick away. It wouldn't matter anyway because Papley's been able to take the mark. There's plenty of pats on the back for Rowbottom for the delivery.
Just can't let that ball squeeze out. Got to go to stoppage.
Papley with a chance to kick a second. He has 1 goal, 2. He'll start in line with the right hand behind post.
Flynn had that in his lap.
Papley with a little hop, skip and a jump. And a miss as he hits the left-hand goalpost. He can't believe it. Puts his head in his hands. If to go, how did I miss there? 17-8, 110 to 210-22, the Eagles. 12 gone in the third.
Now the Eagles go a little quicker out of defence. Over the top to Hoff. Kicks it down the southern side to Davis. Now they stop for a moment. Now Davis called to play on. Chisels a kick to the wing. A little hot for Duggan. Got it back though from a teammate. Now to Schomburg. He turns, feigns the handball, kicks inside the forward 50 and Waterman got a bit of space, which has been rare to come by today for the Eagles spearhead. He takes the mark and will have the set shot from about 35-40 metres out. Tightish angle to the right.
I think that's the first mark inside 40 and it's 39 metres. But It was the proactive play from the back pocket. It was a 3v1, and they were still a bit cautious, but it was almost as if they were forced to take it because there was nothing else to go to.
The Eagles have 2, and Jake Waterman has 50% of them. Set shot on the way. Waterman waits for the signal. It's a goal. It wasn't his best kick. It was a bit of a helicopter. He wasn't impressed, but it doesn't matter. It's a rare goal for the Eagles. Waterman has 2. The Eagles have 3. And the music plays out like it's a party here at Perth Stadium. It's anything but. It's more like a wake. 3-10-28 for the Eagles. 17-8, 110 for Sydney. 82-point margin. Feels wrong that the music's flickering now. It's a real solemn mood.
A little helicopter.
He wasn't impressed, was he?
No, he wasn't.
They don't even know who's going into the middle. No one wants to go in there at the moment.
Flynn's no urgency to get the centre bounce around his mids and get to work. Hasn't even communicated with them.
Dersmer's having a little run in there now, as you said. Give him a look.
Eagles fans doing their best. Try and urge their side. Kicked just the 3 goals, haven't been able to kick consecutive goals throughout the game. At one stage, the Swans kicked 11 unanswered. They kicked 17 of the past 20.
Oh, they're reviewing it potentially.
They are reviewing it. That's the reason why Jake Waterman stood there for so long. Has the ball clipped the inside of the post? It has.
Is the Snicko definitive?
Yes.
I think with the combination of the way that the ball does turn on the super slow-mo and the Snicko, the Arcs reviewed it and they've said behind. Take that out of your record.
Yeah.
Put a cross through that score. 2-11-23.
Fix that on your sheet, guys.
17-8, 110. There's enough of a mess on it anyway, Wowie, today. Swans will bring it beyond their defensive 50 and they'll work it nicely out towards Sarong, who marks it right half back, and then he'll go short to Lloyd.
Lloyd goes by foot into the middle of the ground to Mills. Handball forward to McInerney. Waiting for a runner to come past in Wicks. Drew the defender. Handball to Wicks. Steps around an Eagle. Takes a bounce. Kicks from 55 metres out. All the way home for a ripping goal. Sam Wicks with the tricks. Gets another one for the Swans, and that's a double dose of pain for West Coast. A goal denied by the technology at one end, and Sydney go bang, 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 and put another one on the board. 18-8, 116 the Swans, 2-11-23 the Eagles, a 93-point margin.
They fold back too much, West Coast.
I was just watching that. They were all making their... Kelly and Baker were all making their way back, and Mills standing in the middle on his own.
Like, you had that much time, you actually reset for a centre bounce. It's 6v6v6. That's one kick in. And how can Callum Mills have 30 metres by himself?
It's a game-high lead of 93 points to Sydney. Again, mine goes back to that game in 2023 where Sydney won by 171 points. Thought that things were changing. Fortunately, back to the bad old days for West Coast. Flynn wins it down against Grundy. Here's Dersmer, hand pass in the direction of Kelly, gathered off the deck. Hand pass was there for Dersmer to run onto. Tackled by Mills immediately after he received the football, ball up. Throwing him, as we heard from Sheridan Shane, into the middle. Number 1 pick in Willem Dersmer. Flynn won it down to Davis for the Eagles. Wobbly looking kick inside, forward 50. Pack of 4 up, no mark taken. Spill down to Sarong, to Roberts of the Swans. They'll work it out. Nicely done through Heaney. Then to Wicks beyond defensive 50. Kicks towards the commentary wing. Ooh, little elbow into the side of Corey Warner's head in that marking contest. He's okay. The umpire says we're off hands. It's over the boundary for a throw-in right in front of the Eagles' interchange gates.
Last set of clearance you mentioned was good by Willem Dersmer. Adds a bit in there, the number 1 pick. Ball tossed back in. McInerney, slick little handball to Robot and then to Lloyd. Now to Heaney for the Swans. Takes a bounce, kicks inside the forward 50, spinning around, locating the ball and taking the mark is Logan McDonald. Tied up against the boundary, right forward pocket.
Wow.
It's almost like Heaney was 2 steps ahead.
Yep.
He put the ball there when McDonald had his back to it. And he spun around and saw the silver service.
Hands from stoppage. They don't dump it. They drive their legs, get out.
Kicked 18 goals today, the Swans, and Logan McDonald hasn't got involved. This will take his best. Drop punt is always narrow. Ricochets around off the fence and the post. It's a minus score. 18-9, 117. Plays 2-11-23. Margin 94 points.
McCarthy with the kicking duties. To Baker. Puts the Eagles towards the outer wing, and that's a good mark. Marty.
And good.
Started a goal-scoring spree. Goal in the opening 32 seconds. Marty from the southern wing. Kicks towards left half forward, and Grundy juggled it twice, eventually was able to mark. Pretty much uncontested. Yeah.
Block put on Flynn. Selfless play.
Look to move it short. And to build up again here, Sydney, with Sheldrick. Sheldrick pops it into the left forward pocket. Heaney marks for Sydney. 25 out from goal. Still going to be a good kick, but he's easily up to it. Deep in the left forward pocket, Isaac Heaney.
He's the best player on the ground. No one wants to go near him.
Takes a deep breath. Holds the ball. Firstly in the right hand. Snaps around the body. The set snap is perfect. Isaac Heaney's with 4. Joins Charlie Curnow as the game's leading goal kicker. Sydney, their lead is exactly 100 points. 19-9, 123 to 2-11-23 the Eagles. 20 minutes gone in the third term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport, ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and streaming on ABC Listen. One of my favourite TV shows returns tonight on the streaming services. It's a show called From. It's about a nightmarish town that you cannot escape from. I reckon that's exactly how West Coast feel right now.
Sounds a bit scary.
It is a bit scary. A bit like how West Coast will be feeling right now.
I'm not into those ones.
At least there's a road out of your stadium.
There's no road out of there, and no road for West Coast. It keeps looping back to the centre again.
Ball back in the middle. Flynn takes it out of the ruck for West Coast. Kicks to half forward. Malikan got in front, but couldn't mark. Then gathered. Kicked it up the wing. Holding free kick paid. It's going against the Swans and Cunningham. And going to Liam Duggan, who'll take the kick, go towards half forward. Waterman up against McCartan. McCartan wins on this occasion. Takes the mark. The crazy thing is, it's 100 points on the dot. There's 7 minutes to go of game time in this third term and a whole other quarter of footy. And this crowd is as flat as we've heard them in a long time. The Swans go from one side of the ground to the other. Wicks takes the mark. Handballs to Rampy, who just stands still, has time to think about it. Now handball back to Wicks, runs his measure on the broadcast side, kicks inside the forward 50 over the top. Shanahan had a couple of grabs at it, and he's been paid the mark. That's why he's back there. For a guy who shows so much promise as a key forward, he's also their best intercept mark down back. He kicks it outside 50 again, off hands. Dersma fumbled it. Now it's knocked towards the boundary, coming through. Corey Warner sees it out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. Just down from the visitors' race and change rooms, just outside half forward for the Swans. Flynn and Grundy stalk each other again. Ball spun back in. Grundy to the front, tapped it into space. First one there, though, is Dersma, who is tackled over the boundary line, and they'll spin it back in the same exact spot. 100 points the margin, 23 going in the third term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport in the West.
You want to get in touch, 0437 774 774. Ball spun back in. Grundy got it down to Rowbottom, back to Grundy, then to Roberts, to Wicks for Sydney, to Sarong, measures the kick perfectly, dragging the mark in. Mills at centre half forward, 50 out from goal. Stabs the ball inside the attacking 50. No mark taken. He wanted Cunningham off the deck. Kelly got a hand pass away, only as far as Duggan, immediately tackles. Ball up the call between fullback and centre half back for the Eagles. Sydney by 100 points in the third term. Oh, beautiful. Grundy down into the path of Warner, who missed.
There was 3 Sydney players on the defensive side of that stoppage, all just raffling who was going to run around.
You go.
There you go, bro.
It was a set play that Warner knows he should have converted, shaking his head in frustration. Minor score, 19-10 plays 2-11. 24 gone in the third, 101 points the margin.
He tries hard, Matt Flynn, and he competes every week. He's been okay this year, but he needs a towel because he has been given a genuine bath by Brodie Grundy tonight. That is silver service. The Eagles bring the ball back into play. Brock has it. Handball to Lindsay. Back to Brock, who's pretty quick for a big man. Arches the back, kicks it down the wing. Looking for a target. Flynn is there. Outpointed by Rampy, who couldn't take the mark. Now Duff Tytler comes in to lend support. Wicks gets there for the Swans. At right half back, gathers, spins. Dangerous kick. Inside defensive 50, but it was perfect to Sarong. Now they can go. They have the overlap, the Swans. Out the southern side. Mark taken by Cunningham. Gives the handball to Sheldrick. Kicks up the wing to McDonald. Marks. Turns. Kicks inboard to Roberts. Thought about giving the handball. Chose not to in the end. And he'll reset his numbers flood back and he'll go wide and kick it back to Angus Sheldrick.
Sheldrick, 3 metres in from the boundary. Southern side of Perth Stadium. Gets a kick inside forward 50. Bounced in front of McDonald, who thought he was being held. Couldn't get it. Schomburg worked it out to Graham. Now eventually the umpire has paid the free kick. It's coming back here for Warner.
Dropping the ball.
So it was against Schomburg for incorrect disposal. Had it, got his arms free, tackled by Warner, lost possession of the football. Chad Warner. It opened up for him for a shot on goal a few moments ago. Can he kick his first? 45-degree angle from the left. Kicks from 51 out. Goal umpire does not have to move. Chad Warner with another one for the Swans. They've kicked 20. Listen to this for a bit of numerology. 20 goals, 10, 130. It's all even numbers for Sydney on the scoreboard. Their lead is 107 points. The Eagles are 2-11-23. And that light that we thought was there for West Coast after the past 2 weeks has become a red and white freight train down the tunnel. It has absolutely rolled over the top of them.
Certainly has. Had a genuine powerhouse.
Well, we thought this would be a genuine temperature test. It turns out it's a bit hot out there for West Coast today.
Yeah. They're well undermanned.
It's 3rd-degree burns hot. Ball back in the middle. Grundy taps it to Warner. Chip kick forward. First one there is Allen for the Eagles. Handball back to Baker. Back to Allen. Handball to Hoff, who came past for support. Couldn't gather. Ended up just tapping it to Jack Graham. Handball back to Beau Allen at right half back, who steadies himself. Kicks inside defensive 50 to Harley Reid. We found some rare space on this occasion behind the ball. Goes short. Back to Jack Graham, just beyond defensive 50 on the southern side. Can chip it further afield to Hoff. Disposal 17 coming up for him. Only Tim Kelly has more for the Eagles with 19. Calls the long ball, kicks it high down the southern side. Flying is Grundy, and so too Archery. They both put the fist in. Cunningham couldn't gather. Pushed off it in the end. Duff Tytler received the handball. He's taken to ground. Once again, James Jordan is just wearing Harley Reid like a cheap suit. Ball goes up in the air, off both hands of the rucks, falls to Beau Allen. He was dispossessed. Wicks through traffic, terrific. Danced around a couple, got the handball to Mills. Handball forward to Chad Warner. Now to McInerney. Has the overlap to Papley. at the 50. Kick inside, looking for Heaney, and well chopped off by Hamish Davis. Read the play well, the young Eagle. Can now go outside defensive 50 to Archer Reid, to Dersma, to Champion.
Champion marked it. Knocked out of his grasp as he ran into Jordan. Eagles fans wanted 50. Not to be. Malachi Champion stands on the logo southern wing. Takes a few steps and kicks into the right forward pocket. Wants Waterman, had 2 to beat. And Carton in front, Sarong behind, and Sarong gets a fist of the footy and knocks it across the boundary line for a throw-in. He'll be spun back in where the 50-metre arc meets the boundary. Right forward pocket. 2010 plays 2-11. Sydney over West Coast. 29 gone in the third. Thrown back in. Another ruck had a telling tap. Came out in the direction of Graham. Punched beyond defensive 50 by the Swans. Archer Reid, short hand pass straight to Waterman, who has been pinged for holding the ball by McInerney. Try to take on the tackle. There didn't appear to be a lot of time in it. McInerney getting the free kick. Works it out towards Warner. Shows a clean pair of heels and then turns it over. Low flat kick that was intercepted. Good mark there. Well read by Baker to Cripps. Bursting by. Allen receives the hand pass. Runs to right half forward. Kicks into the right forward pocket. Bias at the back of Champion. Won it to ground. Sarong got a hand pass away to Wicks. Wicks from the left back pocket for the Swans. Tumbles a kick in the direction of Warner, who flew but couldn't mark. Spills out to Allen. Warner followed it up. Does pick it up off the ground second time. Hacks it forward again for Sydney. Grundy tries to get there. Archer Reid was in the vicinity. Cunningham worked it on cleverly again to Grundy. Under pressure. Got a kick away across half forward. Waiting for it, Davis. Able to gather the footy. Hands it off to Lindsay. Ugly kick. Just dribbles along the ground. Picked up, though, by Schoenberg of the Eagles, and he'll move it forward. And a chance now for West Coast to build again as Dersma marks.
It's been ping-pong footy, and there are a lot of tired players out there searching the three-quarter time siren. Kick goes out in front of Graham. Gathers, runs to 52, kick inside 50, punched away from Shanahan. Sarong with the crumb for the Swans. Handball to Bice. Handball now to Rampy. Tucked up deep in defence. High clearing kick. Allen did well to get his body in position. Won the ball. Handball across to Dersma. Something for the Eagles fans to cheer about. The number 1 draft pick hits the scoreboard. No need to review that one. That's a goal to Willem Dersma. Gets himself on the board. The Eagles have a third, and it ends the run of 8 in a row for Sydney. 3-11-29 West Coast. Sydney at 2010 130. Nice work by a couple of Eagles.
Yeah.
Eagles youngster in Allen and then Dersma.
Yep, absolutely. Loves a goal, Dersma.
He's dangerous inside 60, really, isn't he?
Some green shoots there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Allen's trying hard in this quarter too.
Yeah.
So
He's been given an opportunity.
He's been moved up onto the wing. Tried his run and carry game a little bit there, which was good. It's hard when he's down that wing, though, because he's got one of those left foots that really requires to go across the body, and so it was almost disadvantaged him.
Grundy won the tap. Eagles want to merge with it. Archer Reid picked it up off the deck. Went back to Graham. Kicks into the right forward pocket. Out Rampy. Tried to trap it with his left boot. Went a second time. Slapped it back in the direction of Roberts for the Swans. Hand passes forward. Umpire spots a free kick. It's coming back here. Taken high out of all of that was Rampy. He'll have the free kick for the Swans at left half back. 101 points the margin in favour of Sydney. 32 and a bit gone in the third. As Rampy takes his kick, that is the end of that third term. It was all Sydney, despite that late goal from Willem Dersma. The Swans building what was a 63-point lead at halftime into a 101-point lead by three-quarter time. They should be very satisfied with their work so far this afternoon. Those in red and white coming off last week's bye. And after losing to Hawthorn the week before that, Sydney looking the goods against the very young, very beaten West Coast side today. 20-10-130 Sydney, 3-11-29 the West Coast Eagles. The goal kickers look like this. 4 goals to both Charlie Curnow and Isaac Heaney, 2 to Jake Lloyd, 2 to Joel Amati, and then singles to McInerney, Wicks, Sarong, Papley, Grundy and Warner. While for West Coast, the goals, those jumper numbers, 1, 2 and 3, Dersma, Waterman and Baker. The only 3 goal kickers for the West Coast Eagles. It's Sydney by 101 points. Earlier today, Port by 42 over Richmond. Wherever you're listening on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC Listen, look for the AFL button. This is Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Who will win the AI race? Has gambling become our national sport?
Questions. They've never been more important. So the one thing we'll never question is our duty to keep asking. ABC News. Keep asking.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Into the pocket goes Lloyd and Heaney, able to take, in the end, an uncontested mark in front of Tom McCarthy. In a cut above Isaac Heaney, the left foot snap is good. Superstar is the right word. Isaac Heaney has a third. Roberts on the bounce, takes it, handballs to Blakey, kick on goal is through. End-to-end stuff from the Swans, and it's a 15th goal for the visitors.
Steps left, takes a bounce, audaciously runs past Graham, kicks towards full forward, Amati! Elects the play on, Curnow from the top of the goal square, bangs it through for another one. He's got 4.
Kick quickly taken by Bias, who goes inside 50, and Lloyd marks it in space. Will go back and take the set shot from about 50 metres out, slight angle to the left. Former defender, now forward. Kicks from 49 metres out, goal umpire bends the neck straight up to the sky as it sails over his head. And that's another one for the Swans, a second for Lloyd. Waiting for a runner to come past in Wicks, drew the defender, handball to Wicks, steps around an eagle, takes a bounce, kicks from 55 metres out, all the way home for a ripping goal. Sam Wicks with the tricks.
Children pops it into the left forward pocket. Heaney marks for Sydney. 25 out from goal. Snaps around the body. The set snap is perfect.
Handball across to Dersma. Something for the Eagles fans to cheer about. The number 1 draft pick hits the scoreboard.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Other results to bring you up to date with around the nation on ABC Sport. In the NRL, full-time in the second game, the Broncos have beaten Gold Coast 26-12 earlier. North Queensland 32-0 over the Dragons. Well done to the Western Force, even without Zach Lomax, who didn't play. It was a late out due to some injury issues. They've won their second game of the year. The Force 42 have beaten the Reds 19. The Chiefs 42 beat the Waratahs 14. And earlier today in the AFL, Port Adelaide by 42 points over Richmond, 13-12-90 to 6-12-48. Here at Perth Stadium, it's been all red and white. Sydney lead by 101 points, 20-10-130 to the Eagles, 3-11-29. Plenty to celebrate for Tom Papley in his 200th game. How do things pan out in this final term? Can they show some sort of resilience, the Eagles, or will it get even uglier? Sharrod Wellingham and Shane Woewodin.
I think it'll get uglier. It's 20 goals 10 to 3 goals 11. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Eagles kick maybe one more for the game and Sydney 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Yeah, mate. So, where do you start at the moment? I just want to see some intent in their defence at the moment. Just that uncontested footy in that quarter went through the roof. They're plus 60 now. And it was just at ease, really. I actually thought Sydney were taking the mickey a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Back half, and maybe Coxie might have had a word with them. But their system's going well, and there's a lot of breakdown with West Coast defensively at the moment. But yeah, just like to see a fight, keep it under 100.
You can tell the difference without Yeo and without Robertson, of course. But stoppages from score sources from stoppages, West Coast had won the last 2 weeks and actually won the second half against Gold Coast. They've been outscored by 43 points so far today. Sydney 8-6 to 1-5 scores from stoppages, and turnovers gives you an indication of how poor the Eagles have been. Sydney kicking 10-4 to 2-4 from turnovers. We'll get some other numbers if we can in just a moment. Bridget Lacey's downstairs. Bridge?
Yeah, I've just been watching Lewis Melican. He has had a fair bit of work done by the physios this evening. He's been off the ground for about 20 minutes and he is starting this quarter off as well, but the Swans have assured me once again they're managing rotations and he's okay.
Mitch Turner, anything else stand out?
Isaac Heaney, 23 touches and 4 goals, leads all comers on the ground. 21 for Jai Sarong and a goal. For the Eagles, it's Tim Kelly with 19 and Brady Hoff with 17. It's the Swans, though, by 101 points.
It's been a procession since the opening 30 seconds. Grundy wins the tap, but bursting through after sharking it is Allen for the Eagles. He decides to go himself. It'll bounce in the goal square, wouldn't tumble on. Mills was there to receive it. Gave it out to Bice. Kick beyond defensive 50. Ball still bouncing, getting onto it. Lloyd gathers, gave it to Blakey. Blakey for the Swans. Short hand pass to Grundy. Back to Blakey. Tried to tap it along the boundary line. Getting in front, Davis. Schonberg tries to hand pass it out. Comes to Flynn. Flynn's hand pass was knocked away from him by Lloyd. Not the disposal. It's gone across the boundary line for a throw-in.
Yeah, we mentioned a few different changes, and well, he's noticed that Harley Reid's gone to half back.
You go play on Jordan. And now he's come up on board.
He's actually gone to tag Papley at the moment. Punch forward here by Grundy. Coming out to meet it. Wicks couldn't quite get it into the direction of Heaney. It's again over the boundary line for a throw-in. So the two number ones are standing alongside each other as well. Chad Warner and Willem Dersma. Grundy got the fingertips onto it, spilled down in front of him. Lloyd emerges with it, manufactures a kick, but the short one only as far as Brock. Here is Harley Reid. Hand pass to Duggan, just inside the logo. Northern wing. Kicks the Eagles into the right forward pocket. Coming out, getting a fist on the footy to punch it away. Wicks. Grundy onto it. Hand pass back into traffic. The Eagles had a number there. Trying to take it and get tackled himself. He'll get a free kick out of all of that. It's Matt Owies. What'll be just his third disposal of the game after he gets a free kick to Wicks.
Owies looking to make an impact. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Flying in the front. Willem Dersma. He might not have been the intended target, but he made himself just that. The number one pick. On a night where there is little to get excited about for the Eagles fans, this guy continues to impress. Set shot coming up for his second goal, and would you believe it? Would be 2 in a row, technically, for the Eagles. Dersma straight through the middle. He's got 2, and he's got the last 2 goals in this game. And the margin is back under 100 points. 95 points to lead. 4-11-35 West Coast, 20-10, 130 Sydney. Just less than 3 minutes played in the fourth term. Sharon Wellingham and Shane Woewodin are our experts on ABC Sport.
Well, I was kind of going off my because I thought Owies, he got the free kick, but before he'd done that, he handballed it straight over the boundary line, and I was tossing and turning up here, but nice inside 50 mark from, or mark inside 50, I should say, from Dersma.
It's good. He's playing as a mid. He's pushing forward.
Yeah.
Play to your strengths because his aerial game's pretty good.
Interesting to see what his game will look like when he adds on 5 or 6 kilos of muscle.
Andrew McQualter is headed down to the bench for the Eagles as Flynn gets an ugly kick away, bouncing to the ground after he won possession. Straight to Warner, bursting through, hand pass to Robot and back to Chad Warner. Hands it on to Jordan inside forward 50 to Heaney. Tried to measure a kick in the direction of Corey Warner, couldn't. Chopped off, well done Getting to it, Duggan. Hand pass to Reid. Hand pass in front of Brock. Couldn't take it cleanly. Sheldrick applied pressure to Grundy. Back to Sheldrick for the Swans. Hand pass in the centre square to Jordan. Works it on again to Corey Warner. Stabs the pass short. Papley marks. 45-degree angle out to the left. He'll put Boots a ball from 35 out.
Finds a lot of space, doesn't he? Turnover by West Coast.
He looks for the set snap. He'll take it as well. Tom Papley looking to curl it through for his seconds. And that is the most sedate celebration we've seen from Tom Papley in years. There's no fist pumping. There's no running towards the Swans fans behind the goal at the Farmer Freeway end. There's just a couple of very casual high fives to his teammates. As Sydney put that lead back out past three figures. They're up by 101 points, 21-10, 136. West Coast 4, 11-35. Tom Papley's got 2. Bridget Lacey is downstairs.
So we do have an update on Lewis Melican. He is now out of this game with back tightness. So he'll take no further part for the Swans.
Back tightness? Yep. It's fair enough. Just put your feet up. The last player out with back tightness at Perth Stadium was Usman Khawaja in the first test of the Ashes series. But this one will be slightly less controversial. Ball back in the middle. Heaney tackled, dispossessed, and umpire said it was holding the man. Swans take the advantage through Blakey. Kick inside 50. Papley flew high, flew early over Duggan, and this is what confuses me about AFL football.
One umpire directly in front said, play on.
There's an umpire 5 metres away who said, play on, and the umpire 70 metres away said, free kick. Now, the free kick's probably there because he got nowhere near it, Papley, but how can 2 umpires trained the same way see something so differently? Oh, Duggan went quick, kicked into the man of the market, spills to Cunningham, taps it into the path of Curnow. He knocks it forward. Coming the other way, though, is Young for the Eagles. Handballs towards left half back. Davis gathers, gives it to Duggan, who's tackled out of bounds by Sheldrick. It was a bit of a mess, that whole play. It is confusing, though, how 2 umpires can see something so differently. Official attendance, 50,723 here to witness what is currently a 101-point lead to the Sydney Swans over the Eagles.
What our friends in the NRL would describe as a bumper crowd as the ball thrown back in, and Warner got a hand pass away inside the right forward pocket to Rowbottom. Centering kick. Curnow gathered to Papley by hand. Back to Jordan. Comes once more to Lloyd from 45 out. Lloyd kicks long. It's spilled to ground. Has it been socketed through by Rowbottom? Harley Reid was right there. He thought it had gone across the behind line. They are going to send this upstairs. Well, this would be a moment of madness from West Coast if it hadn't gone across the behind line, and Rowbottom was happy enough just to kick it short, a little socketed stab for a goal. Umpire's call is a behind. Here's the score review.
Looking at this angle, we can see the ball deviates.
It's definitely hit the right-hand goalpost.
Decision on scoreboard.
Harley was right there. So was the goal umpire. So the right decision is a behind. 21-10, 136 Sydney, 4-11-35 the Eagles. Sydney by 102 points. Michael in Melbourne says maybe West Coast form before this game was misleading. Wins over North and Port. 5 players were missing from Port side last week. Fair point from Michael. 0437 774 774. I would say it wasn't even about the win, but it was just the effort today from West Coast.
So the Eagles almost turned it over from the kick out. It was knocked away from Davis. I think what has happened, because the ball went out of bounds and was going to be a throw-in, I think Harley Reid's knocked Jordan over off the ball, and they've given it from where the ball was going to be tossed in. It's going to be a free kick to James Jordan from that point, because that's where the ball was live or not live, that's where it was. So it's a free kick to James Jordan, and this would really an insult to injury. He slots it from the boundary, and the margin is up to 108 points. 22-11, 143. That is Sydney. The West Coast Eagles are 4-11-35. We'll wait and see a couple of the replays. I saw a player go down in Jordan behind the ball, and
Oh, hang on. Angus Sheldrick's given a little forearm to Ruben Ginbey. Harley Reid's come over and remonstrated. I'm not sure where the free kick was. There was a Sydney player down after that. That's a little one to look at for Angus Sheldrick. Wasn't a great look.
Been a week for that.
By the way, the biggest loss ever for the Eagles at home here at Perth Stadium is 109 points to Richmond, which that loss caused a whole heap of fallout.
Harley still protests his innocence as Grundy wins it down and gets a kick away. Bounces to McInerney at centre half forward. Hands it off to Papley. He'll launch it goal. He'll miss the lot. From 49 out, he puts it to the right. Free kick for West Coast at left full back. That was nasty from Sheldrick into the head of Jimmy. Raised the elbow. And we'll certainly be looking at that. Jimmy with the free kick. Puts it long towards left half back. Heaney flew. Grundy thought he'd marked it, but he was behind. Umpire says play on. Had to hand pass it forward. Lindsay was tackled. This will be a holding the ball decision. And come to Wicks, who affected the tackle. Gave it off to Sarong. Kicks Sydney into the right forward pocket. Onto the chest of Curnow, leading out strongly. Not much Ginbey could do about that. The pass was low, flat and hard. And Curnow was able to take the mark.
They tried to fight the tackle, Lindsay. Wicks has been good tonight.
He has. He's been really dynamic. Change of angles, change of direction with ball.
It's got wheels.
Charlie Curnow had 5 goals in Swans colours coming into tonight. 45-degree angle to the right. From 47 metres out, he's hit the left-hand goal post. Posts have come in for some work tonight. 22-12, 144 to 4-11-35. Sydney's lead 109 points.
So they've levelled that biggest losing margin at Perth Stadium. The Eagles. Charlie Curnow did the damage in their second worst loss here, which was 108 points. The day he kicked 9 for Carlton. From the kick out, Grundy in front has been paid the mark. What a night he has had. This is disposal 24 coming up for the ruckman. Kicks inside the forward 50. No one gets a hand on it. Rolls through to the back. Duggan sees it through. Margin up to 110 points. Another minus score to Sydney. 145 plays 35 as Eagles play on quickly to Lindsay in the pocket.
They bring it back inboard onto Duggan. Low kick was poor. Couldn't find a teammate. Blakey's able to scoop it up. Got a hand pass away to Sheldrick. Under pressure from Hoff. Couldn't mark. Gathered off the ground. Gave it to Rowbottom for the Swans. Then on to Heaney. 50 out from goal. He decides to go long. It's across the face. It's a minor score. Curnow was underneath it. It had already crossed the behind line. And so right now we're out to a 111-point lead for the Swans. 11 gone in the last.
Young with the kick-out duties for Eagles, the former Tiger on this occasion. Kicks out to the broadcast swing. Mills came across, had a fair piece, couldn't mark. Running past, receiving the handball for the Eagles was Duff Tytler. Handball across to Graham. Now across to Champion. Had a fumble, ran into trouble. The Swans have it back. McCartan gathers handballs and Mills can't gather. It's off his hands and out of bounds. It makes me think of the Mick McCarthy, the former manager in the Premier League, and they said it can't continue like this, can it? And he goes, it can.
It can.
And it will. That's what I felt like when Sharrod said at 3/4 time. Oh, I think it'll get worse. Ball spun back in. Grundy tapped it down. Handball over the top now to Warner. To Rowbottom. Out in front of Roberts. Trying to tap it to his advantage. Duggan was coming the other way. And then diving forward. Tapping it to a teammate. The right call. Roberts went low and took out the legs of Harley Reid. He'll win the free kick, the Eagle, and goes wide by foot to Kelly. He chips it up to centre wing to Matthew Owies. Disposal number 4 coming up. Owies long and high to right half forward. Sliding in was Shanahan. Couldn't get there. Rampy at the back. Happy to see it out of bounds as Champion works him over the line. Ball to be tossed back in the right forward pocket for the Eagles. 1-1-1 is the margin. Sounds like it'd be the number for a helpline.
If Dickie Bird was about in the middle, he'd be standing on one leg. Those old cricket superstitions. Eagles have it in the right forward pocket. Allen got it out to Baker. Hard up against the boundary line. Centering kick. No mark taken. Swans attack the football. Strong play came from Rampy. Got a hand pass out to McCartan, then to Heaney. Hand pass beyond defensive, 50 to Lloyd. Swept the hand pass on again to Sheldrick on the run. Left half back comes to Curnow. Juggled mark, did well. Has it just inside the logo. Back into the centre square. It comes to McInerney. He'll pop a short, clever pass over the top. McDonald should have marked it. Spilt it, looks to follow it up. Amati had it, gave it out to Cunningham, runs it along the ground. He misses to the right-hand side. They were queuing up. The Swans can only kick a minor score. Their lead, 112 points at the 15-minute mark of the last.
Reid to Graham, what are you thinking, Sharad?
Gosh, no one wants to defend, that's for sure.
No bumpers.
Kicked out the southern side. Baker caught one high in the marking contest. He'll win a free kick, defensive side of the southern wing. Yeah, he had a lot of options there going inside 50. And I mean, they've made a few errors. The Swans could have had another 10. McDonald just dropped an uncontested mark because he was probably just a bit tired. The Eagles have turned it over. McCartan takes the intercept mark, goes out the outer wing again. Found Sarong, who goes inboard to Roberts, who kicks towards Warner, standing by himself at half forward. Duggan stands the mark 55 out. If he wants to wheel, he can, but why would he when he can chip it over into the pocket? And McInerney running back with the flight takes the mark. And you listen to that through your radio, through your phone, your smart speaker, however you're listening to us.
I don't think I have seen the stadium this empty halfway through the first
You can
quarter.
actually see the Eagles fans
disappearing.
You can see them leaving the concourse, and why wouldn't you beat the traffic? If you want to leave, jump in the car. You're in Perth, you're locally here, 102.5 FM. You can listen to us as you drive away from the ground. McInerney, set shot coming up. Drop punt on the way. He misses, lets them off again. Margin up to 113 points. 148 plays 35. 16 minutes played in the final term as Harley Reid takes another kick out.
Reid moves it on to McCarthy. McCarthy has to get a move on now. He took a step off his line, almost run down by Jordan. Has to spin around in a circle and kicks towards the northern wing. No mark taken. Ball hits the deck. Emerging with it, Duggan for the Eagles. Hand pass, sweeping it forward to Champion on the run. He's got space to work with from right half forward. Oh, goodness me. He has put it down the throat of Mills. Almost like he thought Mills was one of his own teammates leading out towards him. I'm not sure Mills could believe his luck. Waterman was behind him. It's like Mills called for it. Goes right back to full-back to Sarong. Shares it again with Bice, who marks deep in the left-back pocket. The nightmares return for West Coast fans. Sydney's lead is 113 points as the Swans share it around at left half-back to Sheldrick to Rowbottom, who marks again.
Rowbottom goes backwards. Tobias at left half back. Tobias decides, why not just kick it on my opposite boot and find McInerney still inside defensive 50. He's got Mills waiting on the broadcast side. Instead goes shorter to Sheldrick. Former Claremont product, takes the mark. Now plays on. Out of Christchurch Grammar here in the west. Kicks up the wing, finds Papley in game 200. Wheels. Has a leading target inside forward 50, and Jordan takes the mark, and drifting forward with no one within 30 metres of him is Jake Lloyd. It was a 30-metre kick from Jordan to Lloyd inside 50, and to show you how close the Eagles defenders were, Harley Reid has had to run from one mark to the other to man the mark here for Lloyd's set shot, because there was no one else within cooey of him. I hope it was a good Friday. It's been a terrible Saturday for the Eagles. Jake Lloyd, set shot's a beautiful looking kick. And it's even more beautiful if you wear red and white. Jake Lloyd has a third goal. They break the 150 mark, the Sydney Swans, 23-16, 154 to the Eagles, 4-11-35. The lead is 119 points. The records are tumbling here at Perth Stadium. Bridget Lacey is down on the boundary. Bridge.
Yeah, it's a very happy-looking Sydney bench, and it looks like Isaac Heaney's had enough for the day. I think he's done enough too, so he's taken the boots off. Interestingly, Brodie Grundy, he hasn't had enough. He's headed back out there, and he was on the bench just a minute ago, so he's going to play the last few minutes.
They probably went, hey, which one of us do you reckon's getting the 3 votes? You stay out there.
Well, he got injured earlier this year when he hurt the hamstring. It was in a fourth quarter when the game was done, and they left him out there, and I think they've learnt their lesson.
West Coast to win the clearance. Oh, Kelly sums up the day, just kicked it straight into McInerney, who tapped it into the path of Warner. Swans away, Rowbottom back to McInerney, stabs it to Papley. Marks 51 out from goal. 45-degree angle to the right-hand side.
His Warner was through that centre bounce. It was clean.
Papley suggesting that he's going to have a shot at goal. Has 2 today in his 200th. Papley from 51 out. He's given this plenty. He's just missed. To the right-hand side, a minor score. 23-17, 155 to 4-11-35, a 120-point lead to Sydney.
Could be worse. Like it could be worse. They lost by 171 points to them a few years ago. This is only 120. The Eagles looking to clear their defensive half, kick out towards the wing, off hands and out of bounds as Archer Reid tried his best to make a contest. They've got a little stinger in the shoulder.
There's also 6 minutes left, Mitch.
As he comes to the bench. Yeah, that's Lee Matthews' rule, a goal a minute. That could be unders if Sydney want to. Ball spun back in. Grundy to the front, taps it down through the legs of Dersma. Sheldrick, clever handball out of the stoppage to Grundy. Then to Jordan, handball over the top will be lassoed as it rolled out of bounds. Lindsay will take the kick for the Eagles, go quick and just to Duggan inside defensive 50 who runs. Handballs to Lindsay, doesn't want to take the kick himself, gave it to the youngster. Not many Eagles fans left, but they're booing as they go laterally inside defensive 50 to Young. So 155 on the board for the Swans. Kick goes out the outer side. Shoved underneath it was McCartan. Off hands. Duff Tytler pushed out of bounds. So the highest score they've conceded at Perth Stadium is 165. So 10 points away from that. There is a very empty Perth Stadium, as Sharon Wellingham says, but there is a nice patch of red and white to the Graham Farmer Freeway end behind the goals, and that is the Swans cheer squad who will cheer this. Grundy to Papley to Curnow, who dropped the mark. Papley ran through, tried to soccer it to himself. Overran it. Jimmy gathered to Allen. Now to Dersma. 1 bounce, 2 bounce. Steps away from Grundy and kicks up the wing.
Still showing a few skills, but then puts it out of bounds on the full.
And Grundy
taking him off.
Yeah.
Perhaps 5 minutes.
Grundy doesn't look the best. You'll get the hand pass from Rowbottom on the deck. Got it to Sheldrick. Was taken high. Umpire says play on. Champion intercepted it. Flynn on in turn to Kelly for the Eagles. Kicks long towards centre half forward through the hands of Waterman. Out after it, Rampy. Held to him by Owies. Giving away the free kick. So the Swans will have it. I'll look to flare it out to Cunningham, who was the late inclusion. We've been talking about how bad it's been for West Coast, but Sydney have gone past the 100-point mark now 3 times in 2026. I think they only did it once last year as they storm away again. Warner receives the hand pass, 51 out. He kicks the goal. He's got another one. Chad Warner with 2. Sydney 24-17, 161 to West Coast 4-11-35. It's a 126-point lead to the Swans. It's Dean Cox's biggest ever score since he's been in charge of Sydney. It'll be by far and away his biggest ever win as well. And we've still got 4 and a bit minutes to play. Bridget Lacey's downstairs.
Yeah, just a concern for West Coast tall Archer Reid. The doctors are having a look at him now. They seem to be looking at his sort of right arm shoulder area. He doesn't look great, but I'll see if I can get an update out of West Coast.
Yeah, it was that marking contest just in front of the bench. By the way, I said it could be worse. I just got a text from a friend, Ash, Port Adelaide supporter, who said it could be worse. You could have lost to this mob at home. So some take it better than others. Ball goes forward to the Eagles, off hands. Corey Warner tackled by Cripps. Ball spills out to Baker. He's dispossessed. Now Graham comes through. He's tackled at ground, lost it, holding the ball. Free kick to Rowbottom. Don't feel too bad. He gets the better of most of his tackles. Goes to Bice, then to Cunningham. His kick out of the southern side wasn't great. Roberts had to gather off ground level. To Sarong. To Grundy. He slipped over. Little Dewey maybe as the Lions take over. Handball back to Cunningham. Kicks up towards half forward. No one there but Brady Hoff, who gathers on the bounce. Shares it through a couple of handballs. Back to Hoff. Now Duff Tytler to Harley Reid. Continues to run. Defensive side of the centre square. Kicks towards the broadcast side to Davis. Handball back in the middle to Dersma. To McCarthy, who's dispossessed by a lunging Corey Warner, who now receives the handball. Comes to the broadcast side. And Amadi can mark, and thought about the handball, eventually gave it to Lloyd, who goes to Warner. This is Corey, one of the two Warner brothers. Kicks inside the forward 50. Curnow gets in front of Jinby, who looks like he's had a tired and torrid day, and he takes the mark, Curnow. It's not a great place to be when you're down by 126 points. You're tired late in the fourth, and you're on an island with Charlie Curnow.
In the cage.
He looks knackered, Ruben Jinby. Charlie Curnow looks like he wants another. He's got 4. He steps around, he snaps, and he misses. He'll stay with 4. The margin is 127. They're now up to 162, the second highest score conceded by the Eagles at this venue.
Eagles fans summing up Heart of Darkness, the horror, the horror. As West Coast through Lindsay beyond defensive 50, and he turns it over. Grundy, an enormous game he's had. He marks for Sydney, just shy of left half forward. Pauses for a moment, pops it out in the direction of Bice, who marks. Uncontested mark again. We can go back to the logo. There is Rampy. We'll switch play. Raking kick marked on the outer edges of the centre circles by Cunningham. The late inclusion with Rosas out through calf tightness to Lloyd. They're toying with it at the moment, Sydney. It comes back to Rampy. And then Rampy goes back again to Bice. Practising holding off the football potentially for if they need to do it later on in the season. Kick goes to the centre circles, to Cunningham. Now out to Lloyd, who will eventually decide to kick forward. To Sarong, who marks it right half forward. Goes in the direction of McInerney, and he marks. He was behind Graham, who almost nudged him into the flight of the football. McInerney marks. 45-degree angle to the right. He'll put boot the ball from 40 outs.
Just basketballed around. Just rack up some junk footy.
Good for the stats. Speaking of which, I'll tell you how the disposals look after this. McInerney trots in, looking for another one for the Swans. He pushes it across the face. Their lead is 128. It's a minor score. 24-19, 163 to 411-35. Sydney 419 disposals to the Eagles 283.
They're both on the same track this season. West Coast and Sydney. They both play at Norwood next week. So on the same path. Maybe different destinations at the end. Ball works down the broadcast side. Off hands. Graham gathers. Tackled. Dispossessed. So too Grundy. And Graham's called for a throw. So 163 is Sydney's score. 165 is the highest score conceded by the Eagles at this ground If they want to go quick, they can. Bias to Corey Warner, tackled by Lindsay. Gets it out to Papley, handball over the top. It'll be last touch out of bounds. It'll be a free kick to the Eagles. It'll be Brady Hoff as the seconds tick down the margin at 128.
The biggest score they've conceded at this ground, Mitch?
165.
Ooh, still a chance. Kick towards the logo. Sydney at the back of the pack. Row bottom, hand pass forward. Got it on to Kelly, though. Kelly for the Eagles to Owies. Kicks inside forward 50. Lloyd mops it up. Gave it to McCartan. He'll flare it out towards right half back. Sydney have been utterly superb. But the nightmares return for the West Coast Eagles. Their biggest loss at Perth Stadium. The Swans by 128 points.
By day and by night, lift that noble banner high. Shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
It was all Sydney from the very start. They kicked the opening goal 32 seconds into the game. They led by 33 points at quarter time, by 63 at the half, by 101 at three-quarter time, before going on to win 24-19, 163 to the Eagles 4-11-35. Sydney were utterly outstanding. Isaac Heaney with 4, so too Charlie Curnow.
Cheer the red and the white, honour the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
Sydney have annihilated West Coast. They should set up shop in the West, the Swans. They just love coming here. Another win for Sydney. Their 7th in a row at Perth Stadium. And they've now won 6 on the trot against the West Coast Eagles. Sydney with their 3rd win. They're 3-1 now from the 4 games they've played. It's the biggest win by the Swans under Dean Cox in terms of margin, 128 points. Their biggest score ever under Dean Cox, 163 points. And as I mentioned before, you go through their figures last year, they had 2 scores of over 100. Their win in round 4 against North Melbourne, their win in round 24 against West Coast. And this year alone, the Swans, from the 4 games they've now played, have had 3 scores of 100 plus. They're able to move the football, take advantage. And to be honest, they could have probably kicked another 5 or 6. Certainly Chad Warner left 1 or 2 out there today. The goal kickers look like this. As I said, Isaac Heaney with 4, Charlie Curnow with 4, Jake Lloyd with 3, Joel Amati with a couple, Tom Papley kicked 2 as well in his 200th, Chad Warner with 2. Singles to Grundy, to Sarong, to Wicks, to Jordan, to Blakey, to McInerney. While for West Coast, Willem Dersma with 2, Jake Waterman with 1, Baker with the other. It's the Eagles' 4th 100-point loss at Perth Stadium, and they are the home side as well. There's not been a lot to like about West Coast today after 2 terrific wins for a young team, as I mentioned before. 9 players under the age of 21. There are some green shoots, but as a reality check, it was a smack in the face for the Eagles today in front of 50,723 supporters. Isaac Heaney took a contender for Mark of the Year. Sydney, with a performance their fans will long remember. Let's pick it all apart. What have you made of things? Shane Woewodin, Sharad Wellingham on ABC Sport. If you'd like to get in touch, 0437 774 774. Was this what you were expecting from Sydney? Or if you're an Eagles fan on the drive home, was this an acceptable performance after 2 highlights in recent weeks? Did you expect this from a young team this early in the season? What did you make of it? Gents?
I'm not sure. This is what I think. I think it was how good Sydney were. They were absolutely elite. And then how poor West Coast were. There was no middle from either of them, was there? There was absolute clinical display from Sydney and a subpar or sub-acceptable performance from the West Coast outfit. Clint mentioned the green shoots, and yes, I think Dersmer will probably be able to have another game of learning. He improved again, gets another run of AFL level footy under his belt, and a great exposure to what the elite players are doing and how they do it. But they just weren't able to stay with him on transition. I was really worried about the stoppage stuff, and that was really evident early. But it was the transition for the last 2.5 quarters, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think contests we're always going to see there was going to be an advantage with Sydney, and I think they went up by 40, which was I think about right. But yeah, the uncontested stuff, the ability to work and get on the outside and go, and at times, and this is just purely looking at it, you think. There was periods where they just can't go with him, but there were periods where did they give up on that?
Oh, they gave up so often.
You know what I mean? Like just lack of intent defensively. And there were holes everywhere. So system fell apart, and I think maybe Minnie might talk about that in his presser, but system, but just effort.
So how do they keep each other accountable to the system that they want to play if they're not going to be? I mean, we only know what we kind of are fed outside the 4 walls, and what the review looks like, and how harsh they are on each other, and what's acceptable. And we know that for the last couple of years, it's about keeping the group upbeat, and you want to get out on the training track and making sure that they're wanting to come into training every day. But when does?
Oh, that's unacceptable.
Yeah,
behaviourally, you challenge each other. And yes, you're still young, but that'll hold you in good stead going forward.
So I reckon if Sydney put up a performance like that, they would be having a 2-hour review on Monday and going through it with a fine-tooth comb.
And holding each other accountable.
Yeah. And so I know that West Coast are nowhere near that level as yet, but I think that if they're going to put up a performance that is to that level, then yes, they do need to be dragged over, with a fine-tooth comb. And then, if they get beaten by a better side, but they play the way they want to play, then yes, it's, you go through your normal process. You review the game as you normally would. You do your normal week. But this one, I think, deserves a little clip.
Yeah, I was expecting 10 goals, not 20 plus tonight. Yeah, really disappointing. And
200 games for Tom Papley as he gets chaired off as well.
And a very good player.
Very good player. And a late bloomer as well, wasn't he? He came into the Sydney system as a late draftee. I think he would have been 21 or 22. He may have been.
Rookie?
Rookie. Come in and have the career that he's had. It's pretty exceptional.
Tough role to play.
Yep. Excitement machine. Does the miraculous. Does the team stuff. Works really hard.
Good energy.
He's a plumber.
Was he?
Or a Sparky? Yeah. Good story. I really like those stories.
Yeah, tough night for West Coast. Really just got obliterated. And it was looking ugly early. And look, I know it's early in the year, but the opposition, and you get excited by wins, and it's good for a young side, but put it into perspective, it's only been North and Port at the moment, which they're building again. So, yeah, a dark night for the West Coast Eagles.
We'll run through just how horrific it was for West Coast shortly, but let's celebrate with Sydney and head down into their rooms. They're gathering for the club song. Bridget's down there. Bridge.
I am. It's a joyous place to be. There's plenty of friends and family down here. I'm just spotting Matthew Pavich, an old friend of ours. Here we go. They have expecting to have a player shortly.
We'll head back down to Bridget as soon as someone's available from Sydney. So let's put this into a historical perspective for West Coast, because it is the sheer size of the loss which is the story out of this. Well done to Sydney, they were exceptional, but it's the Eagles' biggest loss ever in terms of margin at this venue. It's their second biggest loss in WA, be it Subiaco, the WACA or here. It's their fifth worst loss in terms of margin in the club's history. And the reason why that matters so much is we know that there were plenty of dark days, and Sydney handed them possibly their darkest of days, that 170-point loss in 2023. But the feeling was that while there would still be losses, and there was going to be a number of them, this is a young side, it's the size of this defeat that West Coast should be concerned about. I'm absolutely prepared to say I think everyone who wasn't a dyed-in-the-wool West Coast supporter tipped Sydney to win today. And we knew that for a number of reasons. We spoke of a couple of them beforehand. The ruck battle we thought was going to be significantly in Sydney's favour. When you lose a few others, it's going to make it tougher. But yeah, that's an incredible performance by the Swans. Let's head back down into the Sydney rooms. Bridget Lacey.
Yes, lucky enough to have one of the Star Swans with us here tonight in Nick Blakey. Nick, fantastic win. The coach is just having some stuff to say towards us. Fantastic win. Was the size of the win surprising at all to you, or in the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, we set ourselves for a big game. We've had a couple of weeks off, since our last game, and we weren't too happy with the way we played against Hawthorn, and good teams respond and bounce back, and we set ourselves for a big game. And West Coast are a quality team, plenty of young, good young players, and we sort of knew if we started well, then the game would be on our terms, and we started well, and had a good win in the end, so it's nice.
Coming off the bye, you probably have a bit of a question mark whether there'll be a bit of rust. You probably just missed that pretty early in the game. Yeah,
I think we did train pretty hard in the break, and I think it's been 16 or 17 days since our last game, so to be able to come out and perform like that, and I don't think anyone really dominated. Everyone sort of just played their part, played our role, played to our system, did it well, and the rest takes care of itself, so it was good.
And yourself, at a half-back, you still managed to get forward and kick a goal today, get on the scoreboard. It must be nice when you have such a big spread of goal kickers too. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I had a pretty good roll out there today. They were putting one behind the ball, and so it meant I was spare for a fair bit of it, and got forward and got on the end of one, which was nice. And I think you look over our park, we've got quality players everywhere, and I think no matter who plays well, there's going to be boys that dominate some weeks. Some boys are a bit quiet the week after, but the more we can just all put it together and play together, and almost check our egos and leave them at the door, and just play to our system, I think the rest will take care of itself. Brilliant. I'll send you upstairs for some more questions from Clint Wilden, Mitch Turner, Sharad Wellingham and Shane Woewodin.
Lizard, Sharad here. Congrats on the win, mate. It was very impressive. Mate, I really enjoyed watching the kind of ability of you as backs, and even in mids who'd worked into the back half really hard, to work to get the handball received, but then change the angles and kind of go laterally across the ground. Is that something that's a little bit different from the game plan this year?
Yeah, I think we're a very, very good running team, and it's probably one of our biggest strengths, and to be able to get back and support each other, and the mids do a great job in helping us defenders, and we've got numbers back there, so we may as well run and use each other and link up. And our offense has got certain principles, and we know we've got players lateral, and we know if we get into trouble they're going to be there just for an easy release. So I think we're pretty well drilled in that, and the coaches have done a great job over summer in setting us up, and the boys are executing it quite well.
After the first couple of quarters, the inside 50s, you obviously were far more efficient when you went inside 50, but were you going, we're not really worried about that, because when we know when we're going to get either a D50 stoppage or it's going to be a kick-in or something, we've got supreme confidence that we're just going to bounce it. How many times I can't even tell you, I don't have the stat in front of me, but the number of goals you got from D50 or a defensive 50 stoppage was just remarkable tonight.
Yeah, I think, we pride ourselves on keeping our composure down there, and, you can be under the pump at some stages, but, I think we've got a pretty quality backline back there in everyone that plays down there, and, we've got some pretty good runners down there as well. So, first and foremost, we've got to defend well, but, then ask a few questions of their forwards. Are they going to chase us and actually defend us on the way back out? So, the boys are doing it well. Tommy and Pell and Rams are playing crucial roles because, boys like me get a bit forward and get a bit carried away sometimes. But, they're defending incredibly well.
It's the best half-back you can be, mate.
Absolutely.
Mate, the other last one from me, young Paps, 200 games tonight, kicked a couple of goals. Just talk to us about what he means to the team, because I love watching him play.
Paps, he's everything to this team. He's the barometer, and I think everyone sees, how much he carries on, and he's so passionate out there. But he's one of my best mates, and the way that he cares for his teammates, the way he cares for his family, and everything like that. He's a quality person, and he's taught me so much since being there. He's one of my best mates, and he's taken me and Jazz right under his wing these last few years, and incredibly lucky to call him a mate, and he's taught me a lot, and I love him heaps.
Loves the high five, doesn't he? Nick, well done, mate. Congratulations. You made mention just then that you weren't impressed or you weren't happy with how you played against Hawthorn. What were the learnings out of that you wanted to bring into this week?
I think when you come up against the best teams, and the Hawks obviously played in the prelim last year, and their quality, and I think just the basics of our game that's usually quite good. We were with them right up for about up until the last 15 minutes, and they end up winning by a couple of goals. So I think just the basics of our game that we pride ourselves on, our contest, loose ball gets, they smacked us everywhere in that, and it comes down to a bit of work rate and working for each other, and just simple things. They're simple fixes, and it helps having Isaac back in the team this week as well, and just little things like that. It wasn't too major, but I think good teams bounce back no matter what, and we were able to do that tonight.
Yeah, he's a handy in. There's no doubt about that, mate. I loved your comment, and I've always admired Sydney from afar, either against playing, but certainly even sitting up in here. You made a mention of a comment of just keeping your egos checked and at the door, and when you're in a strong position like that on field, when you're 80, 90, 100 points up, what are the strong conversations happening out there when those things are going well? And sometimes you can get ahead of yourselves a little bit and a few party tricks, but strong conversations with leadership out there.
Yeah, I think that was our biggest challenge today, I'd say, and the boys delivered on it. I think in the last couple of years, it's probably been our biggest enemy. You've got a lot of good players, and everyone obviously wants to be the best and everything like that, but the more we can play as a team and just use each other, I think we've done it incredibly well this year. I think it comes with age as well, like myself, Chatty, Errol, Millsy's always been good at it, Haynes, and those boys. The more we can just use each other and play together and play to our system, everyone else is doing it, and it's so much more fun when you're just doing that stuff. And we've done it well this year, and it's going to be a test going forward, and it always is. But the best teams have no egos, and that's what we pride ourselves on. And the better we do that, the better we'll be.
Nick, Clint Wilden here. Got one for you. Just want to get your reaction. You're at a football club that traces its history back to 1874, 151 years ago. Today, you've been a part of this club's biggest away win in its history. How does that make you feel?
Jeez, that's a good stat. Yeah, that's a good stat. This club's got an extremely rich history, and obviously starting in South Melbourne and now being up here in Sydney, and to come over to Perth and deliver like that is even more special because it's so hard to win here, and to do it the way we did, I think it is pretty special. And I'm not I don't know if it'll get spoken about too much, but to be able to say that we've got the biggest away win with this group of boys, it's it's pretty cool. We're all about creating memories, and the more we can this year, the more enjoyable it will be. So, yeah, hopefully we can keep on doing it.
And a last one for you. Charlie Curnow, for whatever reason, people get really harsh on forwards, copped a bit after the performance against Hawthorn, but 4 goals today, 9 goals so far in the red and white, and he really presented himself today, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's a ripper.
I mean, far out. Some of the stuff that gets said about him, it actually mesmerises me. Like, you know, he always gets the best defender every single week. I don't know if he's been outmarked once. You know, we've scored big scores every week, and he's been a big part of that. And you know, he got on the end of a few tonight, which is good. And I think being up in Sydney definitely helps. And the fact that he's come from a big Melbourne club and everything's still in Melbourne, I think everyone likes still talking about him. But he's just going about his business up here. We absolutely love him, and he's doing an incredible job for us. Whether he kicks goals or doesn't, you know, it's about the process for Charlie, and he's been nailing that. And far out, he makes us a better team. So, yeah, he's done well.
Looking forward to you against Gold Coast at Gather Round next week. That's going to be a beauty.
Yeah, it's going to be a ripper. I mean, they're on fire, and they play a pretty good brand as well, so it should be a good game.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for chatting to us.
Sweet. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good one.
Nick Blakey downstairs in the Sydney rooms. That is going to be some sort of game. Gold Coast, they're up and about. Sydney are up and about.
You say at Norwood, did you?
At Norwood.
Why wouldn't they put them on Adelaide Oval?
Because they made these decisions earlier on. That's why.
That postage stamp. Narrow.
Yeah. We're not unhappy about it, the 2 blokes sitting in the front row here.
You're going?
We're calling.
We're doing the other Norwood game, aren't we?
No, I think we're doing that one, aren't we?
No, I think we're doing West Coast Geelong.
Oh, I thought we were doing that one.
I was about to say they put the good sides at Norwood.
Yeah, that's right.
Gold Coast, Gold Coast, Sydney, Geelong, West Coast.
Well,
I said they have the same path through this season.
What's the saying? 3 out of 4 ain't bad?
Yeah, all roads lead to Norwood. They've always said that.
Any more thoughts on Sydney before we talk a bit more about West Coast? And again, we invite your thoughts, 0437 774 774.
I'm
just overly impressed.
Yeah, process, system,
Yeah.
behaviours. It's what we do. It's all about. It's team first. It always has been, and that's why I made mention of it. You know, they've been doing that for decades. You walk in the door. This is the way we play. This is how it goes. We were just speaking about it while we're off air, just about accountability and looking after each other and making sure that everyone will get a lick of their ice cream at some stage, but do the work first.
And that's what we mentioned at the very start, where we thought that West Coast would have a bit of a temperature test when you're against the side who is always around the mark. They played, what did I mention, they missed finals 3 times in 15 years. And even last year, late surge just because of the way they started, weren't able to get home. They're a terrific football club, the Sydney Football Club.
Oh, incredible. Very, not sure what the word would be, but not envious of the guys who got to play there, because I got to play at 2 amazing clubs. But
you respect what they've done.
Yeah, it would have been pretty awesome to spend a couple of years playing up there.
No Errol today as well, who just quietly, he averages 28 against West Coast, which is the side he averages the most against by 2 disposals above any other side. So he dominates the Eagles. And last time they met, he had 36 and 2. So they did that without the guy that damages them just about as much as anyone alongside Isaac Heaney. So if they get Errol Goulden back late, like, were you impressed with their handball today? Like, they're willing, they just back.
That's what I said. They would just rock up and
they're
I've got their forward handball, just willingness to just keep the ball moving forward.
It's in the game now, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's trust. It looks like trust. So they always know a teammate's going to be there. Like, they stand up the tackle, they feed it out. There's always someone there. They mark it. They look to draw because someone's coming. Like, it just stuck out.
I think the first half. Yeah, I think the first half, how clean they were in and around the contest to be able to get it to their run, and West Coast couldn't defend it. So yeah, it was impressive.
It was almost like they were a step ahead of themselves. You know, like sometimes you can be a step ahead of your teammate, but it was like they were a step ahead of themselves.
But good big challenge for them next week. Gold Coast are a bloody good team too, aren't they?
They are, which is why it's a
enthralling battle next week.
Exciting game.
You do have Sydney Gold Coast at Norwood.
In the bridge.
Sweet.
Not you.
But I'm not with you for that one.
Unfortunately,
you're with the great Aaron Bryans.
That's not unfortunate.
Your request came off, Clint.
And then,
then
We're calling together.
Oh, you're harsh.
We'll be together. We'll be together the following day at Norwood again for West Coast and Geelong.
I just want it on the record. Sharad said that, not me.
Yeah,
I'm very happy to call alongside Aaron. He's great.
I was sitting there listening to you on Sports Talk this morning, Sharad, and I was wondering what song annoys you more as a former Collingwood player, Carlton or Geelong after they beat you in the grand final? Because I know that song annoys you every time you hear it.
Yeah, it's probably Geelong. I never heard Carlton's.
Very good from you.
Very good.
0437 774 774. Dan, on the text line, I wasn't expecting to win, but I was expecting more than that. That said, Sydney are contending for a premiership, and we aren't. That's Dan. Flynn looked like a waffle player next to Grundy. Dersma looked good, though, and he's dead right on Dersma. Dersma did play really well. Showed again why he's a number one draft pick. Matt Flynn was just utterly outclassed today.
Yeah, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
I think he was outclassed. I don't think it was a lack of... Like, we know Flynn just tries his guts out, and I think he still tried. But that's his level, yeah. And Grundy's
Just at a much higher level. It's, to use a soccer term, it's Champions League versus League One.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that it's not a knock on Flynn. I think it's more of a... Grundy's just...
That's where you got to get to.
Yeah, unbelievable player.
He was amazing. Heather from Sydney on the text line, 0437 774 774. I feel sorry for West Coast fans as they're usually very loyal during the bad times, but this was just too much. As a Swans fan who's gone through the grand finals with West Coast, that is surprising for me to say. Another text, West Coast reverted to the proven useless zone defence. They got smashed in the ruck and they refused to draft a semi-decent experienced ruck, and they played Owies, who did next to nothing. I was surprised Matt Owies came back in. I'm not sure that he could possibly hold a spot down on that performance today from West Coast. And I know we've got a number of our listeners here in the West who often scratch their heads whenever Matt Owies comes back into the team, but I just didn't think that was anywhere near the standard. If Elijah Hewitt can prove, and he would have to do it this week on the training track, came back, had 14 disposals and a goal after returning from injury against Perth in the WAFL, and we spoke this morning, and Sharad, no one saw it closer than you because you were out there with the Demons. They'd be really keen to get Hewitt back in.
Oh, absolutely, but having a season view on it is probably the right view. You don't want to put him out underdone and then he does another injury that keeps him out for 10 weeks of the season instead of holding him back a little bit, get a couple of extra runs in. I don't mind that.
Dev Robertson will come back. He'll be available after suspension.
Yeah, I would. And
Finn McRae was Tom the waffle as well.
Tom Gross played. Yep. He could have come in.
Clay Hall played.
They're players who I think are going to be advantaged more for themselves and for the team than bringing in Owies.
Were you disappointed with Harley Reid got tagged today by James Jordan, which wasn't unexpected? Yeah. James Jordan's gone to him before and people do a role. Didn't get a lot of support from his teammates throughout the day. No. It was barely a block put on for him. He basically had to do it all himself and then ended up going down back and James Jordan kicked one on him, which always hurts. But didn't get a lot of support from his teammates, which was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, sometimes you'd see Baker doing it a bit last year. But I don't feel like they were really in there that much tonight.
Though, were they?
No, so Baker spent a fair bit more time down back tonight, I think, and so he didn't have that. And Graham's probably the one, but he's more focused on the one who's probably required to try and get the footy and nullify their players.
He's their best player, Harley Reid.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one that's been tagged in the last 18 months.
Kelly's got to maybe give up some of his, because he probably does have his player sit with him a little bit, mind him, have some selfless, like we saw from Sarong last week, have that selfless attitude of go and help somebody who's getting absolutely knocked around.
Yeah. Bridget Lacey is downstairs in the Eagles room. Bridge?
I am. I'm lucky enough to have the number one draft pick, Willem Dersma, with me. Thanks, Willem, for being so patient and for speaking after a tough game. Can you talk us through what went wrong today?
Yeah, obviously, Sydney are a quality side. I think we knew that going in, and it's just... I think that their maturity as a team clearly showed, and I think part of being in a rebuild is then you sometimes have games like these where Sydney just picked us apart, and obviously that's not our best footy. It's not what we want to play like, and so we'll go back to the drawing board this week, and we'll try to respond really well against Geelong, another quality side.
What was the message from the coach?
There wasn't really too much messaging around. It was probably more about our role. I think we went away from our role within the team, and I think we just expected things to happen when they didn't. And that's just not us. I think that I think we're super keen, but obviously disappointed, but super keen to show and go back to our footy next week.
Brilliant. I'll send you upstairs for some more questions. We've got Mitch Turner, Clint Wilden, Shane Woewodin and Sherrod Wellingham.
Well, Sherrod Wellingham here. Congratulations on a great start for your career. Tough night tonight. You kind of touched on it, and you're exposed to what is one of the best outfits in the AFL. What do you take away from that as somebody who's playing in their first handful of games, second half, or was it only the last quarter? You got some exposure through the midfield. And what do you kind of, bigger picture, try and take away from that at a short time away from the final siren?
Yeah, obviously, playing against players like Warner, Heaney, McInerney, and even Rowbottom and stuff, their patterns and the way they go about it, just attacking the footy, those little things that you can learn on the field, they're really important, especially for such a young player like me, like being still 18 years old, and, going into the midfield. But, obviously they're a quality side, and so, they were composed, and so it just shows the importance of composure out there. They knew their structures, they knew their role, so I think we've also got to get a little bit better at that, a bit more organised and stuff. So I think, we'll respond well, but I think that's the main part. You've got to learn, good teams that do that know how to win.
They obviously got a really big jump on you to start, centre clearances, going straight down to goals early. Do you think that made you go into your shells, or did you have a little bit of confidence after the last couple of weeks that you were hopefully going to be able to fight it out?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say more that we were playing to the right structures. We just weren't winning the ball. I think we cost up a little bit of fundamentals, which they're something we can work on, which is it's a good sign. So I think it's just more our accuracy at goal early. I think kicking 0-8 to start the game is probably not what you want to do. So I think that's also something we can fix up. But I think that the best part about this is we're going to learn a lot more from this game rather than trying to win another game and stuff. So I think these are the big games, big opportunities to respond next week, with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder.
Well, mate, well done on the start of your career. It's Shane Woewodin here, mate. What's the plan early for you? I know that last quarter they threw you inside, which was fantastic, and push forward, and your aerial game, which is one of your strengths, would come to the fore there with a shot on goal. But is the wing the role for you for the next 6, 8, 10 weeks? And is that what the club's been planning for you?
The beauty of it is, I honestly don't even know where I'm playing next week, and I think that's something that I can give as a player, whether it's midfield, whether it's half forward, half back, wing. I think I can have an impact wherever I'm needed, and having players like that, it's a real strength of your team, I think, in terms of selection and then being able to put your best foot forward for a team. So I can't actually answer that at the minute. So we'll see eventually.
Well, what's your preference then, Will?
I think obviously I want to be a midfielder.
Good.
But in terms of learning and stuff, I think it's probably best for me to learn in there this year. But I think I'll leave it up to the coaches with their selection. Obviously, they have the best judgment, and I'm happy to just play wherever as long as I'm getting a game and learning AFL footy.
What are you, mate? 5-6 months into a full-time professional career. What have your learnings been, and what have you learned so far, being around the environment and off these players, not necessarily on field, off field also?
Probably just the little bits of professionalism. Probably whether it's little bits in your diet, doing that extra bit of recovery and stuff, like that's those little 1 or 2% that makes you feel a little bit better and gets you a little bit further late in game that offers some. So I think that's the best part about it is that little bit of professionalism, as that learn that's really good.
Willem Dersma, the number 1 pick and West Coast Eagles player, joining us here on ABC Sport after their tough loss to the Sydney Swans. Willem, have you, it's still early in your career, and it's very early in your AFL career, but can you remember the last time you were involved in a game that was, I guess, that one-sided?
Probably not, to be honest. But
He was probably handing them out.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I was thinking.
yeah. But that's probably the beauty of it is, you get to learn how it feels. And I don't think any of us really want to feel that way again. So I think we're all going to fight to do the best we can and not ever have a game like that again.
And you're living with Harley Reid still. You've known him for quite a while. Give us an insight into what Harley's like away from the football field. We see the very fiery, competitive Harley Reid, but what's he like, with you at home and away from, I guess, when he doesn't have the white line fever and hungry competitiveness that he has?
Yeah, obviously he's a really good role model at the minute. His professionalism's lifted, and I think he's just pretty joyful around the house, getting the mood up and stuff. It's really good. And it's something that he's always been good at. He's really good at lifting people, so yeah.
Clint Wilden here, last one for you. We saw it on social media, but have you got him back for alfoiling your entire room?
No, not yet, but soon enough I'll get him.
Have you got plans? You don't have to tell us, but I just want to know, have you got
honestly,
plans?
The best play is just to wing it.
Fair enough. Well spoken today, mate. Congratulations on your career so far. Hopefully no more losses like that in the future. Good luck against the Cats.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Well, Dersma. Gee, you spoke well.
Yeah, very much.
Really impressive downstairs.
He's going to be a good player.
He's going to be great. Exceptional player.
Going to be great. Good size.
Maybe palm that one-handed
Just
mark.
here.
Yeah, you know what that had shades of?
5.
Nat 5. Like the gangly, long, stretchy, can
Early
play
days.
forward. Early days. He's got actually looks a little bit like Nat 5. Early days when he came in and run out on Subiaco Oval in his debut against Richmond, was it? And he was just all skinny limbs and arms out of Claremont as a forward, and there's a little bit of that about him.
There's a fair
Up
bit
close.
of it. Even his mark inside forward 50.
Yeah.
The way his legs came up and they looked exactly. There's a mark that Fife took in the city end at Subiaco where he almost looked the exact same.
It's weird how much it looks like. You compare players to players, Sam Lawler to Dusty, because they look so similar. A lot of Fife about him.
Doesn't move quite the same way at this stage.
It's better.
Yeah, he moves. I think he's got more of an athletic gait. So probably pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And no knock on Nat, mate, but he's obviously
better.
His kicking for goal is already shown. Like his ability outside 50, set shots. It's cool, calm, and collected for a fourth game.
Fourth, yep.
Don't know what round it is because of that opening thing.
We're getting rid of that, aren't we?
Surely.
Oh, probably not.
No, I think eventually it'll go.
I think we spoke
Because
about
it's
it, and
garbage.
you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All the northern states can have Thursday, Friday,
100%.
Saturday, and the rest of the competition plays out the rest of the round.
Only Melbourne.
Only in Melbourne?
They did that this year. It's just the last game was in Victoria.
Oh, so it's just an Eastern Seaboard opening round.
It was Northern States, but then Melbourne had a cheeky one at the end. They had to.
Wonder if Matthew Pavlich's attitude has changed from when he was here as a commentator. Now he's over with the Swans. Well, who can say? A couple of text messages rolling through 0437 774 774 after Sydney had their biggest away win in their history and gave West Coast their second biggest loss in WA and their worst ever loss here at Perth Stadium. The Swans by 128 points, 24-19, 163 to 4-11-35. On the text line, 0437 774 774 if you'd like to send us a text. Gilby says, I reckon this was the whack the Eagles needed after 2.5 good games. The bits I saw the Eagles couldn't go with Sydney. They just couldn't get enough numbers around the contest to defend or attack. They're young and they have some serious talent coming through, and they won't keep getting caught out between the play like they were today. And listening from Hervey Bay, good evening, gents. Long-time West Coast supporter. Hard to reconcile today's performance to the performance over the past 3 weeks. Was it poor skills or just the next level skills of Sydney and the freshness of the Swans after a 16-day break? It seemed that Sydney moved at will and West Coast provide little to no resistance. I still 100% support the club, as you would, and there's a bit to come for West Coast, and we knew that there would be some up and downs, but I'm not sure we thought they'd be as violent as the swings that we've seen. That was pretty remarkable how that all panned out today. Just another text coming through too, and this is quite damning. If Sydney, if you put their quarter time score up against West Coast's full time score, Sydney still win by 3 points. for whatever that is worth. 6-2-38 to 4-11-35.
It's the highest score this season.
Yep.
And it's beaten the highest score of last season as well, Sydney's score today. Yeah. So it's the highest score we've had since 2024 from any side.
Wow. And as I mentioned before, the Swans, after just twice last season, got 100 points or more this year alone, have kicked 100 points plus on 3 occasions. Speaking of the Swans, it was his biggest win as a coach, both in margin and in score. Here's Dean Cox speaking downstairs.
It was a really strong four-quarter performance. I think something we haven't done for the start of the year. So it was good to see.
What pleased you the most about the way you just dominated?
I thought, first of all, our contest work improved dramatically, and that was one thing that West Coast were really strong at. Their loose balls and ability to outnumber. I thought we really tested. We wanted to test ourselves against them in that. They're the best team in the comp at it. And, I thought early our centre-forward connection was really pleasing. It was a bit clunky we've had at times, but, we were able to get out the front of contests and then force some pressing defence and then use the ball well inside 50.
That's a massive game from Heaney individually. Is that a level that he can consistently be this season, do you reckon?
He's been doing it for years. I can't speak highly enough of Isaac and what he does for our football club. His work as an on-baller, his ability to push forward, he stands up in big moments. And, a lot of people certainly probably see goals and specky marks, but, he's selfless, team-orientated, and he's our vice-captain for a reason.
What do you think the value of a win like that is, Dean, when the players get to, I guess, sort of see it and feel the game style in full flight?
I think we've shown glimpses of the way we want to play, but tonight it was just pleasing that we sustained that for the duration. So, we've still got areas of our game we want to improve on and continually work on. But I thought we matured a lot when they played an extra behind the ball. What we did when they did that, we've had it a few times this year. So, we've got to manage that as well as we possibly can, and the players are getting better at that.
Brodie Grundy's performance, he seemed to really set the tone for you.
He did right from the outset. I thought his first couple of centre bounces, the way he jumped and attacked the ball, and then provided his follow-up work, he was really impressive tonight.
Can you talk a bit about, I guess, the ruck changes and what he's gone through to make sure it doesn't throw him off his game?
I think right from the start. As soon as he got back into pre-season, we had umpires up to train as much as they possibly could. He spends time with Amon Buchanan, our midfield stoppage coach, Mike Pike. We sort of have some words together throughout the week as well, and he comes up with a plan. He's really diligent. He prepares as well as he possibly can. He's a really strong process, and tonight it showed that if he follows that, he can impact the game the way we need him to.
You had the late change as well. Can you talk us through that? What happened there?
That was literally as soon as after my team meeting, after they did the first warm-up. The second one was to test, he had a tight calf, just to test how that felt. And, the decision was to pull him out and make sure that, he can recover and as well as quickly as he possibly can. There was an awareness there and there's something, the way he plays and the speed he puts on throughout games, I didn't want to take the risk.
We often see teams get up by a lot early in matches and then just take the foot off the pedal or get a bit leery and things like you didn't the entire time. You've increased your percentage by 43 tonight, even though it's early in the year. That's going to be significant late in the season. How important do you think this massive type of win, cashing in, could be for you when it gets to the business end?
Mine was, and to the players' credit and the leaders, each line, they had a really strong focus they wanted to go in with. The line coaches spoke heavily about that, and they didn't waver from it. I think that's the good part is, when they go back to the process they wanted to adhere, adopt, and play to, they did that for the duration. So that was the most pleasing part. It's not about trying to cash in or do what you can. It's about trying to play your way for as long as you possibly can, and we did that tonight.
West Coast been pretty decent, particularly after half time, but going forward, their efficiency's been pretty good. So 45 insides to keep them to 4 goals, you'd be pretty happy with that as well.
Yeah, and even early when they were kicking 6 points or something, I thought a lot of the shots that we gave up were wide and long shots. against Hawthorn, that's something that the backs really wanted to improve on. As a collective, they scored too easily against us when they went inside 50 16 days ago. So, yeah, they did the work, they put it in, and when West Coast were being really efficient going inside 50 as well, it's good to see them stand up. And that's a number of different methods, whether it's entry, shoulders out, pressure from stoppage, from turnover. How do you defend the ground to help you back 6 or 7?
That's Dean Cox downstairs in the City room speaking to the assembled media. We need to get the votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year and the Christian Medal. Sharon, Shane, who's responsible today?
Team effort.
Team effort.
It was a team effort, but done individually, but they just matched up.
Yeah. There you go. 1, C. Warner. That's Chad.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to say there's a choice of 2 on that front. Yep.
2, Grundy, for his efforts, and 3, Isaac Heaney.
Okay. Isaac Heaney gets the 3. So the ABC Footballer of the Year, 1 to Chad Warner, 2 to Brodie Grundy, and 3 to Isaac Heaney. What about in the Christian Medal for the best Eagle or Docker?
Where do we start?
Good luck.
Yeah. So 1, McCarthy.
Yep.
I'm going to give 2 to Ruben Jimby for his efforts on Curnow. He kicked 4, but a couple of them were Joey the Gooses, or 1 was Joey the Goose. And 3, we're going to go with the number 1 draft pick in Dersma.
I saw you writing that in before it was even said.
I knew which way you would go. I was that confident. It had to be 3 votes to Willem Dersma.
Had to be.
You could have done the ABC Football of the Year votes after the first 20 minutes, you reckon?
Yeah.
That was probably it. Heaney, Grundy, Warner.
Yeah.
Not even joking.
Yeah, they were so far above.
They were very, very good too.
I love watching Chad.
28 touches.
I mean, other guys chipped in throughout the whole game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but they would stay steadfast the whole time.
It's been a romp today for the Swans. 24-19, 163 to West Coast, 4-11-35. A 128-point win to Sydney. Earlier, Port by 42 points over Richmond. Tomorrow, things begin with Sunday AFL, Matt Clinch and Cameron Ling. Then you'll have the Sunday Footy Forum. Mitch Turner will be alongside Glenn Quartermain and Jake Nile. And then our 2 games, Melbourne versus Gold Coast, and then the Bulldogs and the Bombers. And of course, don't forget Monday, the Easter Monday Classic that it is pretty much every year as the Hawks take on the Cats. Hope you can join us tomorrow when AFL continues on ABC Sport. Thanks to your company from Perth Stadium. It's a massive win for Sydney, their biggest ever away from home in their history. They've beaten the Eagles by 128 points.